reading of prepared opening statements that I have, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Esteemed colleagues, former President, Republic of the Philippines, Lore Macapagal Arroyo, Chairman Mika Swansing, Secretary Maria Teresa Lazaro, and distinguished officials of the Department of Foreign Affairs, other invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. On behalf of the Chair, Mika Swansing, it is my honor to sponsor the deliberations on the proposed budget of the Department of Foreign Affairs for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of 30 protecting our people abroad, and ensuring that the Philippines has a strong and steady voice in the international community. The department's budget is carefully structured to sustain and strengthen its core mandates. Slightly more than half, or 15.2 billion pesos, will be devoted to maintenance and other operating expenses, enabling our embassies and consulates worldwide to continue delivering vital services. 11.7 billion pesos will fund personal services, ensuring that our frontliners abroad are properly supported. Another 3.2 billion pesos is provided for capital outlay to improve DFA's facilities and modernize its operations. By major programs, 13.4 billion pesos will go to the diplomacy program and 9.6 billion to the consular and assistance to nationals program, making up the lion's share of the DFA's 23.2 billion operational budget. This reflects the department's clear priorities to advance the Philippines' interests abroad while never losing sight of the safety and welfare of our citizens overseas. In these uncertain times, marked by geopolitical upheavals, regional flashpoints, and global economic volatility, the Department of Foreign Affairs is our front line of defense and engagement. Every day, our embassies and consulates serve as havens for overseas Filipinos facing crises, be they armed conflicts, natural disasters, or humanitarian emergencies. The budget before us is not merely numbers. It is a lifeline for the millions of Filipinos working and living abroad who rely on the protection, assistance, and representation of their government. This budget also underscores the Philippines' role in strengthening international alliances and partnerships. As the President has affirmed, and I quote, "We remain a friend to all." Our diplomacy must be robust, principled, and proactive, building bridges with our allies and partners while safeguarding our sovereignty and promoting peace. Through this budget, we give our diplomats the means to carry forward this vision of a Philippines respected abroad, trusted by partners, and always protective of its citizens. In supporting this budget, we affirm our commitment to a foreign service that upholds the dignity of the Filipino, wherever he or she may be, and to a nation that speaks with strength, credibility, and compassion in the community of nations. Distinguished colleagues, the committee fully supports the approval of the Department of Foreign Affairs proposed budget for fiscal year 2026. Madam Chair, with your leave, we will now proceed with the presentation of the Department of Foreign Affairs 2026 budget. But before we allow the Secretary to proceed with the presentation, there are several ground. I think all the members have already aware of that. Okay. We present the Secretary. Yeah, okay. Okay, so,
I-recognize ko lang tapos
yeah, okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Representative Z. Alonto Adyong. You're very good hands po with Vice Chair Adyong. He is very much well versed with everything that's happening within the budget of the Department of Foreign Affairs. So you're in good hands po. You have a good sponsor po with you on this journey until the approval of the budget of the DFA in the plenary. Before we move to the interpellations po from our House members, I would like to give the floor to the Honorable Secretary Maria Teresa P. Lazaro to present the budget of the Department of Foreign Affairs for fiscal year 2026. You have the floor, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Representative Micaela Swansing. I also want to thank also the presentation made by Congress Representative Sia Adyong. Well, the former president has already left, but I just want to give special mention to an ardent supporter of the Department of Foreign Affairs, Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, whose birthday is coming on September 13th. Thank you. So again, thank you very much to the honorable members of this Committee on Appropriations. It will be very brief, but just to start with, first slide. 3 years ago, President Ferdinand Marcos gave clear and unequivocal mandate to the Department of Foreign Affairs and the Philippine Foreign Service to stand firm in our independent foreign policy with the national interest as a primordial guide. Next, as the Philippine government's agency for the pursuit and protection of our nation's interest overseas, the Department of Foreign Affairs has responded to the President's call with renewed vigor. And as has been mentioned also, it's really national security, economic security, assistance to nationals, consular services, even public and cultural diplomacy, as well as our organizational development. Next slide. Well, here you will see the list of repatriated distressed Filipinos in 2025. The first half of 2025 alone, the department, working with other government agencies under the One Country Team approach, repatriated a total of 2,004 distressed overseas Filipinos, including those affected by the conflicts in Gaza, Israel and Iran, job scam victims in Cambodia, Laos, and even Myanmar, and the continued provision of our Assistance to Nationals Fund and Legal Assistance Fund is very crucial in enabling us to protect the welfare of overseas Filipinos. However, because the Department of Migrant Workers has also been given the same mandate and is now a cabinet-level department, we work together with the Department of Migrant Workers. Next, on consular services provided in the first 7 months of 2025, you have the figures there. 1 million plus on passports, 89,000 on visas and e-visas, 398,000 on apostille certificates, and 38,000. These civil registry reports include report of birth, report of marriage, report of death. These are all documents that we receive from our various foreign service posts. As a result of which, we have opened consular, next slide, consular office to reach more Filipinos here in the Philippines. You can see here that there are 42 consular offices, and in Luzon, as well Visayas and Mindanao. And we are ready to respond to your questions on issues pertaining to consular offices. Next slide, we have also, on bilateral engagements, these are all the countries that the President has been making meetings, discussions, visits, and the other line is, of course, the ministerial and senior officials that we have been conducting. Actually, this is not limited to this number, and there actually are more. But we just want to inform the many countries that we've been actively having these political consultations, among others. Next slide. We are also mandated excuse me, in 2024 to open new foreign service posts. And these are in Bogota, Colombia, opened already, Bucharest, Romania, open, Dublin, Ireland, as well as Helsinki, Finland. To be established in 2025, I think we have already landing teams that are going there. is Philippine Embassy in Suva, Fiji. Why Fiji? It is more or less in the center of the Pacific Islands, and we need them on various issues because we both having problems with climate change, among others, and the solidarity that we get from them. There's now a Philippine Consulate General in Busan, which is deep south of from Seoul in the north, and Consulate General in Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam. Why? Because this is the business center of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh. And the next one is Consulate General in Seattle. I think this has been opened before, where it was closed and they were reopening it again because there's a good number of Filipinos in this area. Now, there are two most important events that is happening next year. The first one is the chairship, the ASEAN chairship of the Philippines, and this will be next year. It will be a series of meetings, a total of 625 or 45 meetings from it even doesn't start in January. It will start actually in November until the end of the year. This year it's Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Therefore, the last summit meeting will be held in October in Malaysia, and then everything happens in the Philippines. In this particular venue, we can show our leadership, not only in the region, but on a wider level. Next, also in the Philippines, in the United Nations, so there's one is ASEAN chairship, and the second one is in the United Nations. We are all, this year, rather next year, there will be elections in June whereby the Philippines is running for a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. And this is, we have been campaigning for this. We think we have the numbers, but we still need to gather more support. Now, once we become a member of the Security Council, it really heightens up the Philippines as a peacemaker, as a pathfinder, and a partner. We have that slogan. Next, okay, this is now our budget. It's 0.44% of our total proposed national budget. There you are. It's been also mentioned by the chair and our budget sponsor. Next. I think I have mentioned this already, what the security candidature, and that is for 2027 to 2028. Next. Well, the West Philippine Sea, this has been something that has been discussed many years, for several years, but I can tell you that Department of Foreign Affairs is very steadfast in upholding our interests in the West Philippine Sea. With the South China Sea, we have always two anchors. It's the 1982 UNCLOS and the Arbitral Award of 2016. What we're doing is a little bit different from how the security agencies do it, but we're all in collaboration with each other per the mandate given by the President to us. Next, the FA Budgetary Trusts and Strategic Direction. It's there. And if I can go to the next slide. Just want to inform you that there will be a next generation Philippine passport. I think this is important. It is, and we thank I think Congress for making the passport 10 years. So this was really a big benefit to our people, particularly our OFWs. But here we're coming up with a redesigned, Philippine passport. Finally, I just want to inform you that we are also going for 2026, 3 more foreign service posts. Accra, Ghana. Accra, Ghana, Ghana, I think, is one of the countries in Africa that's very steady. And I think we may not have the good number of Filipinos there, but the economic opportunities and its leadership in Africa is very important. Of course, Philippine Embassy in Astana, Kazakhstan, we don't have a presence in any of the Central Asian republics, and Kazakhstan is probably the most open and, how do you say, is progressive among the Central Asian republics. And Miami. Why do we have a consulate in Miami? We are looking also at the our Filipinos there. particularly the Caribbean. We have so many Filipinos working in the Caribbean, and the distance right now it's Washington who takes care of it, and now we're really going near our constituency to assist them in their with their consular needs. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Secretary. You deserve an applause. Thank you, Secretary, for the thorough presentation. Before we proceed with the actual interpellation and deliberation of this committee budget briefing, just a few reminders in the ground rules that I'd like to, again, the members be appraised of. So the committee, of course, would like to invite the members questions, particularly on the utilization of the previous budget and the proposed allocation for the fiscal year 2026 of the Department of Foreign Affairs. As part of the House's commitment to greater transparency in the budget process and in line with the current leadership's initiatives in the Committee on Appropriations to foster a more participatory budget process, we shall read the questions submitted by the civil society organizations after all members of this committee have propounded their questions to the agency concerned. The Honorable Secretary Maria Teresa Lazaro and her team are requested to provide the necessary clarifications and to respond directly to the questions being asked. And the public following this proceeding are fully informed of the anticipated impact of the proposed budget of the DFA, so that we also would like to, if the Secretary would like to, again, would like the chairman to recognize any of her undersecretaries or assistant secretaries to respond to a particular question, she may do so. We also would like to remind our colleagues present that each member is allotted 5 minutes for questioning for the interpellation, excluding, of course, the responses of the resource persons or our guests. So when you hear this first bell, I'm sure you're all familiar with the sound. Can you please play the sound? Yeah. Basta may sound yan, may bell. That's okay. That's an indication that you have only 30 minutes left. 30 seconds. I'm sorry. That's for Kong Rufus Rodriguez. You only have 30 seconds left, and then you have to wrap up your questions. And if you hear this sound again, parang doorbell, no? That means that your time is up. So, in accordance with the long-standing and the respected tradition of this House to accord preferential treatment to the minority, we prefer to allow first the minority members to ask questions and then followed by the majority, and then the independent members of this House in an alternating manner. So, Congressman Deputy Minority Leader Tinio is present. Is he here? Okay, so since no member from the minority bloc is present, so we directly go to Representative of Cagayan de Oro, Vice Chairman Rufus Rodriguez. You have 30 minutes or unlimited time to ask your question, sir.
No exception. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, but we're limited to 5 minutes. Secretary, good afternoon, and all the undersecretaries and ASECs and all the officialdom of the Department of Foreign Affairs, and also some agencies that are attached to the DFA. And now, thank you for announcing my birthday, so everybody will now know, and I have to be ready with my blowouts, okay? But anyway, certainly I am here, as usual, to support, of course, the Department of Foreign Affairs. And I'm very glad to hear that we are extending so much in services, our consular, apostille, on all the other functions, especially with our embassies and consulates abroad doing so much work excellently. And so I'm also very happy to hear that certainly the Department of Foreign Affairs would certainly really fight for the 1982 UNCLOS provision favoring the Philippines, and of course, the July 2016 decision of the Arbitral Tribunal in Den Haag. And so we are really here to look at the budget and how we can further support the budget. There has been an increase. I understand, and it's very clear here, that as far as the increase of the Office of the Secretary, we have a good increase of from 27 billion here to 29. Can you confirm that, Secretary?
I can confirm that, Representative,
Yes.
Your Honor, Your Honor.
Yeah. And in spite of this, what else would you need? Yan ang tanong. Kasi okay na ito eh. The President has much trust in you, as we do in the House. And so we would like to know from you if they are still left out from what you have proposed to the DBM. May we know how much was proposed by the DFA to the DBM for 2026?
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Can I direct that question to our Assistant Secretary for Finance, please?
Yes, good afternoon,
Yes,
Your Honor.
Assistant Secretary Emilio Fernandez.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you, Chair. Your Honor, a total of 2.2 billion Tier 2 proposals were proposed to DBM. Yes, and nag-grant naman ho yun for 2026. Yes,
In other words, all of your proposals for the 2026
Yes.
NEP were all given?
yes, Your Honor.
You're very lucky. You know, many are crying here. Many departments because they have a 3 billion, 2 billion reduction. So is there anything else because you have been given your proposal? Again, the trust of the President to Secretary Tesla Lazaro, who has been doing a very good job as ambassador, as USEC, and so forth. So, or there's nothing else that is needed by our secretary, except of course the opening of the consulate in Bukidnon, my neighbor. You know, Bukidnon is so huge, and there is no consulate office. They have to come to Cagayan de Oro. Although we like it because they spend there, but because my neighbor, Congresswoman Laarni Roque, I think Bukidnon deserves. Will that be open in this coming year, 2026?
Again, thank you, Your Honor. This can be responded by Undersecretary De Vega.
Yusek De Vega, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez. We'd like to assure Honorable Congresswoman Roque that we will work on the proposed opening of Bukidnon. Of course, we will go through the process of preparing for this and also coordinating with the Department of Budget and Management because we also do need their approval for the opening of our proposed consular offices. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And
sir.
another one, there's also no consular office in the entire Zamboanga del Norte of Congressman Adrian Amatong in Liloy. Can we also have a response on that?
Again, I direct it to Undersecretary De Vega.
Mr. Chairman and Congressman Roque and Congressman Rufus and Congressman Matong, the Liloy CO proposal is also in the list for submission. Thank you.
Yes, for 2026, that there will be an opening? Because we're talking about Mindanao here. And so we always, work for that island paradise of Mindanao, but the land always a promise. But
Sir,
your promises always will be followed kasi
Sir, we-
DFA kayo eh.
Sir, we will work with the DBM on this because the final approval, of course, will come from them also on the opening.
Cong Rufus, in line with your questioning, I had a separate press briefing yesterday, and I learned there's an additional 5 million that was supposed to be included in the NEP, because Cong Rufus is asking you how much exactly do you need, and you said everything is in there. May I confirm? No, 5 billion. Isn't it supposed to be a 5 million? Kasi we have to take this opportunity, I mean, Congressman Rufus is asking you how much do you exactly need? How much did you request DBM for you to be able to work on as a budget, as operation for your operational budget for fiscal year 2026? And you said everything is in there now. But I heard during yesterday's presentation, there was a 5 million, if I'm correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Chair. There is a request from one of our attached agencies, the Foreign Service Institute,
Okay.
for the provision of additional funding for their HMO, for their employees, in the amount of 5.6 million. And this was included in the National Expenditure Program for this year, for the current year, but not included for next year. So the Director General of the Foreign Service Institute is requesting. He is also present here today at the hearing, Director General Fernandez, and may be able to
okay.
provide more
With the indulgence,
details.
with the indulgence of Vice Chairman Rufus Rodriguez, would you like Director General to respond to that question? Since
Thank you very
it's
much,
actually
Mr.
your
Chair.
question that we also would like to know. How much can you confirm? Is it in the budget that we are actually have right for 2025? It's already there in the GAA, but in 2026 NEP, it's not there, no? Tama ba?
Yes, good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon to honorable members of the committee. I would like to confirm that it is part of our budget for 2025, but it was excluded for the NEP for 2026. Hence, I request that it be included as well to sustain the HMO coverage of the personnel of the Foreign Service Institute. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Vice Chairman Rufus
Mr. Chairman, I
Rodriguez.
really admire our debonair chairman for remembering. Imagine there's a 5.6, and because it's the chairman who remembered it, it will be included because he's the chairman.
Thank you, sir.
The presiding chairman. The other thing, Secretary, is our Canberra embassy. The consulate is so small. And, it's just really one small room. Mas malaki pa yung stock room ng Congress dito sa South Wing. Is there a way we can be able to have something to expand that, to have to serve those who are going to go to Canberra, our capital, so that we are able to really give comfortable services to our people in Australia?
Your Honor, Canberra is a very important post. It so happens that these buildings that you saw has been there for quite some time, and because of this recommendation, or rather statement that you made, we will certainly make sure that the space for the consular area will be bigger.
Thank you, Secretary. May I know now from other attached agencies, what else would you need? Because we're going to add 5.6 to the institute. Is there any other? Because we are really here to help to increase the budget, because the FA has been doing an excellent job in really trying to be able to put our best interest forward, especially against China. So we would like to support. Yeah. So is there anything else? Because maliit lang ito, 5.6, tapos the embassy in Australia. So
I'll give you
I have
another.
30 seconds. No problem. But let us ask
Okay.
the good secretary.
What you have, the statement that you have made, Your Honor, is really of value. But if you ask now, what is really the need vis-a-vis the country that you mentioned? Actually, we need to strengthen our cybersecurity. I think that is a very important aspect, and it's just that I think we are also looking at. My colleagues are talking about stopgap measures and all that stuff, but we are zeroing in on that as part of the security that we have to maintain because of many other factors. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So in terms of budget, how much would you need to really be able to have a very good cybersecurity for our country?
Your Honor, can I call my colleague in charge of OWAMS? What is OWAMS? Asset Management. Yes, ASEC Hilado.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. Sir, we do have allocation as approved by the DICT for our ISSP. We do have budget for cybersecurity I think in the range of around 350 million. It is distributed in various projects. But now we are also in the process of assessing in terms of capacity of how much we can absorb if we need extra. What our focus now is on secure communications, securing our, refreshing our infrastructure in terms of our IT and internet, as well as our email service. We do have a proposal, and it was given by the DBM in terms of moving towards having a separate ICT office as well, which is actually one of the proposals that we are working with the DBM, sir, in that regard, just to strengthen our capacity for cybersecurity as enunciated by the Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Secretary, is it included what, ASEC ba? What you just mentioned, is it included in the presentation, or it's going to be a separate and it's still it's a
Your
discussion
Honor,
with
my
the DBM?
understanding is it is not included, correct?
It's still under what you call it? It's still
Tier two.
under. Oh, are you still being discussed this over with the DBM?
With the DBM, I think it is something that we have discussed with the DBM
Okay.
on Tier 2.
So it's not yet there in the NEP 2026. Okay.
So let's ask directly, how much would that be? Because, you know, the House has the power of the purse. And so therefore, if you see the need for that cybersecurity independent office in the DFA, certainly we would like to give that. So how much would that cost?
Let me just check.
Is it 350 million as you mentioned?
Yes, sir.
earlier?
Apo. Sir, yung modernization, yung total kasi, sir, na binigay is 100, mga 300 million po, sir.
natin kung kasama sa Tier 2.
But if we are moving, Mr. Chair, if we are moving towards establishing the ICT office, we may need some home-based plantilla items as well, which will be on the part of personal services, Mr. Chair, rather than on the MOE side.
If no members here would like to complain about extending your time, maybe I can give another 1 minute for Kong Rufus Rodriguez to exhaust this discussion, because this is very important. No? I can give you
Cybersecurity.
another 1 minute,
It
Congressman.
will not take 1 minute. I would just like to ask the submission so that we will know how much it will be needed in addition to the DICT budget given to you. Because that's in general, but we want to have a cybersecurity office in the DFA itself to assure us of the integrity of our systems and our state secrets. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would like to end with a statement that in the proper time, I will move not only for the approval of what is presented here, but an augmentation and an increase of the budget of the Department of Foreign Affairs under Secretary Lazaro. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chairman Rodriguez. Now okay. Now we'd like to recognize Deputy Minority Leader Laila de Lima. You have 5 minutes. Would you like to ask your question? Yeah.
Thank
You
you,
have
Your
your 5
Honor.
minutes, ma'am. Thank you.
I beg your indulgence. I understand earlier my name was called already. I was in another committee, the Infracom hearing. I'm not sure if my questions have been asked already, but nevertheless, I shall still. This is more on finding out the status and the position of the DFA. First, on the issue of, you must have heard about the filing of a resolution urging the DFA to introduce a resolution before the United Nations General Assembly to call on China to respect the 2016 arbitral ruling and for it to cease and desist, to stop its acts of aggression against the Philippines within the West Philippine Sea. We actually based, as one of the, in fact, I was the principal author, I actually based that resolution on the announcement itself of the department that the Philippine government intends to actually refer that or file that or elevate the matter to the United Nations General Assembly. I think it was a statement, thank you, a statement sometime last year. Would you confirm there was such a plan on the part of the DFA to refer the matter to United Nations General Assembly.
Thank you, Your Honor. To respond to your question, I just want to inform you that the Department of Foreign Affairs is looking at a strategic, deliberate, and calibrated approach. And this is what we need to promote, the resolution that you have mentioned. The UNGA will be meeting this, at the start of the United Nations General Assembly this September. And we are consulting also our mission in New York on the possibilities and the probabilities of having this resolution passed. But we're looking at it and we're studying it very carefully.
Has this matter reached already the office of the President or the President himself? Was this idea ever put up in her presence? In his presence, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I am not very sure about it, but there has been, on our part, Department of Foreign Affairs, there has been no discussion yet on this matter.
I understand perfectly about the considerations of strategic, whether it's strategic, whether it would be what? I don't think there's any issue on this move being beneficial to our country, but it's about the strategic considerations. But in light of the successive recent actions of aggression on the part of China, would it be the best, or among the best moves to be made in order to prevent escalation of the tension, precisely to seek now the help of the international community? Is that not good enough a reason that may outweigh any strategic considerations?
Your Honor, there is that possibility. It may. However, at the present time, we are having a bilateral mechanism that is so far being effective. The transparency initiative of the military is something that is also deterring certain situation. But in the United Nations, being very frank and candid, Your Honor, the focus of the Department of Foreign Affairs now is to gather more, support because of our UN Security Council candidature. We just want to finish this, rather have these elections, which will happen in June next year, and therefore the resolution is still very much in our minds, and we are mindful of the positions that has been taken. On
So
this.
you are prioritizing that?
Just prioritizing, Your Honor, because this candidature is very, very important to us. And once we are there in the Security Council, of course, we have a voice.
What would now compel the department and the Philippine government as a whole to finally take that step of elevating the matter to the United Nations General Assembly?
Your Honor, I have, first of all, I think the response is we have to have it a whole of government approach. We'd like to also meet and convene with the other stakeholders in this particular situation. We just want to be very on all fours on discussing this issue because, the United Nations is a different venue, and we just like to be very, very prudent in the way we approach things.
We understand. 3 more issues, Mr. Chair. Will I be? Is my
You
time?
still have, yeah, I guess you still have time.
I still
yeah.
have time. How about the rejoining of the ICC or the Rome Statute? Should it be also now opportune to consider rejoining ICC and Rome Statute?
Your Honor, again, the truth is this is something within the purview of a different government agency, particularly the DOJ.
Yes?
I think they have had discussions on this with other agencies. We have not been privy to their discussions. As if so, then there will be notes verbal and official communications. But DOJ is the lead agency.
Yes,
on
it's
this.
the lead agency. So I wonder if DFA has any role? No role?
We well in the
Treaty process. The treaty process.
it's more of the treaty process. When there is such that has been already concluded, and indeed, if there is a rejoining the
ICC.
yes, then there's a process that goes through us, and then it's a treaty process itself. Then we will be doing the filing, we'll be requesting for concurrences, and we're doing the legal
And the ratification
the
also.
ratification process. That's correct,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Next, the extradition. Kibaloy extradition.
Okay,
Is it true that the DFA has not received any
that's correct,
official
Your Honor.
request yet from
We
the
have
U.S.
not-
government, in spite of the announcement of the ambassador to the U.S., Philippine ambassador to the U.S., Romualdez?
If you recall the statement of Ambassador Romualdez, he said that it was given to the Department of Justice, not Department of Foreign Affairs. And I confirm that that we have not received anything formally from the U.S. Embassy. If so, if we receive anything, that again goes to the agency concerned, and that's the Department of Justice.
It's not the first time that we are having extradition. There have been extradition cases already. So is that the proper procedure, that it goes direct to the DOJ instead of coursing through DFA?
I'm not very sure of that, Your Honor, but the process is a note verbal, which is the diplomatic communication, goes to the Department of Foreign Affairs, whatever is stated in that, and then we give to Department of Justice, depending on the decision or of the outcome of how Department of Justice will decide. It goes back to us, the Department of Foreign Affairs, and then we will send that to the U.S. Embassy.
So at the moment, no request yet, official request
None,
from the
Your
U.S. government, let's say through the
None, Your
State
Honor, whatsoever.
Department. Okay, one last point on the, are there already DFA help desks in various embassies and consulates, especially in those areas where there are quite a number of complaints of abuses of our OFWs? DFA help desk, let's say human rights desk.
Just an initial reaction to that, Your Honor, because the Department of Migrant Workers has taken over some of
Okay.
the issues when it regards to OFWs. However, for Foreign Affairs, we are in charge of students, tourists, spouses, like what happened in the New York bus crash. That those were tourists. That's under us.
That's
But yes,
DFA.
but when it comes to OFWs,
OFWs, migrant workers, is now
yes,
DMW.
it's with them.
No coordination whatsoever
Oh,
with DFA.
it's there's always a coordination, and we still adhere to the one country
Because they will
team
course
approach.
through the embassies, they will course through the
Yes.
consulates.
They do.
Right.
And then we give it to the Department of Migrant Workers. But, Your Honor, just wanted to add that the DMW has still very limited MWOs, migrant workers offices. For those who do not have MWOs or migrant workers offices, it goes to the Department of Foreign Affairs, and we take like the issues in Laos and Myanmar where there's a lot of scams happening.
Yeah.
We are the ones who extract them. It's the Foreign Affairs.
Thank you for all those information, Madam Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman De Lima. Before we proceed to the next interpellator, I'd just like to acknowledge the arrival of the following members: Honorable Paulo Marcoleta, Honorable Munir Arbison, Honorable Maria Isabel Sagarbaria, Honorable Kenneth Gatchalian, Honorable Antonio Tino, Honorable Mark Cojuangco. Thank you, sir, for joining. Thank you, sirs and ma'ams, for joining us in this committee deliberation. So we proceed with the next interpellator, Representative Adrian Amatong. Yes, sir, you have 5 minutes.
Good afternoon po sa entire DFA family. Ma'am, natanong na po ni ni Kong Rufus kanina. So, i-clarify ko lang, hintayin ko lang po yung official communication. Pero more or less okay na po yun na po. Kasi I believe na delay lang yung ibang information tapos na-submit na namin last week or the week before that. So, yun lang po, wala na ko ibang tanong.
Certainly coordinate. Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, you're done? Okay, thank you. Thank you for that very brief question. Yeah, so we proceed with the next interpellator, Deputy Minority Leader Antonio Tino. Sir, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon po sa DFA. Una po, ilang mga questions sa budget ng DFA. Sa inyong may mga nakita kaming notable increases. One, MOE, other MOE subscription expenses from 185 million in 2025 magiging 767 million 2026. 313% increase. Pwede po ma-explain lang ano po yung subscription expenses na ito?
Thank you, Your Honor. Can I give that to our Assistant Secretary for Fiscal, Fernandez, please?
Asek Fernandez, please respond. Thank you.
As additional information sa guidelines ng DBM, subscription expenses cover the cost of subscription to library and other reading materials. You do a lot of reading.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Chair, if I may. This pertains to our OCA, Office of Consular Affairs, their subscription to certain software services. Yes.
May we know the nature of these software expenses? Actually, parang nakikita na po nating trend to across all government agencies. The other day, I raised a similar question with the Civil Service Commission. Kasi doon from several hundred thousand, naging 600 million or something ang kanilang subscription expenses. Okay?
Your
Ano
Honor,
po yung software na ito?
Your Honor, Undersecretary De Vega will respond to that.
Hi, Tess.
Hello, Congressman. Thank you very much for your question, and thank you, Madam Secretary and Mr. Chairman. Just to provide more information on the subscription costs, as mentioned earlier by our Assistant Secretary for Financial Services, these are subscription costs used mainly by the Office of Consular Affairs, including cloud subscription for the data, and also the software for our visa division team and the e-visa technical program, because we are now in the midst of onboarding po and also partial implementation of the e-visa system of the department.
Okay.
Thank you, Congressman.
So, mukha po, Mr. Chair, na the general move towards so-called e-government entails a lot of new funding for, among others, cloud services, software services, and so on. So, syempre, kailangan palaging mapagbantay din tayo sa mga ganyang kontrata, no? So, could the department provide the committee with, an inventory of these subscription services?
We will do so,
Thank you po.
Congressman and Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Napansin din namin sa capital outlay nyo naman, machinery and equipment outlay from 80.3 million in 2025 to 1.039 billion for 2026. That's a 1,193% increase. Ano po yung equipment na ito? Machinery and equipment kasi, hindi siya capital outlay na infra.
Your Honor, our Assistant Secretary for Asset Management will respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think this includes our retrofitting allocation.
Parang di kayo sigurado, sir.
Sir, ipacheck ko lang po, sir, kasi I think the machinery and equipment includes our capital outlay for the retrofitting project po of the DFA.
What is the retrofitting? What are you retrofitting?
Sir, we're retrofitting our old headquarters on Ross Boulevard, and we are implementing this as a 3-year project for the retrofit of the DFA, the whole DFA building in
Okay, but
Ross
why is it under machinery and equipment? 1 billion. Anong machinery and equipment ba to?
Your Honor, I believe this pertains, is the amount 919.4 million for,
Well, in the NEP,
yes.
there's an item under machinery and equipment outlay. It says 1.039,247,000. So tama yan, 1.039 billion.
Yes. Among the highlights of our gas, itong General Administration support, meron 919...
Sec, can you speak closer to the
yes.
microphone? Yeah,
Meron
please? Thank you.
meron hong 919.4 for ICT projects, including the acquisition of ICT equipment and software. That is
Okay, so this is
under-
ICT equipment and software.
This is part of our International System Strategic Plan, Information Strategic Plan.
Okay.
Yes.
So, again, meron na bang mga ano to? Mga
may rundown ho yan.
O tsaka may contractor na, ganun?
No, wala pa.
O bago pa lang, ibibid pa lang?
Yes, these were mga DICT approved projects.
Okay. So, pahingi na lang po ng
Yes.
detalye.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now to some more policy questions. Yung dati po merong presidential, parang VFA commission, tama ba? But it morphed into a presidential commission on visiting forces. Dati presidential commission on the VFA. Pero dahil po sa dumadami na po ang mga VFA ng Republika, ay naging ganyan na po, no? So it's attached to the DFA. You head it, I believe, the secretary
Chair. We're the
chairs
chair.
it. Correct. Okay. So ilan na po ba ang mga VFA? Alam natin yung, of course, with the US and then the status of forces agreement with Australia. And recently, treaty na rin po ba yung sa Japan? Yes? Was it ratified?
Okay, thank you,
Yes,
Your
please.
Honor.
Please,
Just to respond, and then I'll give the floor to you, Undersecretary Habulan, who is the head of the executive director of the Philippine Commission on Visiting Forces. To your question, yes, so we have the US, we have Australia, and the RAA with Japan has already been ratified both by the Philippines and Japan. There are other in the pipeline, and I'll give the floor, Your Honor, to
yes.
to
That would be
USEC.
my next question. Kasi reading the papers, apparently there's a long list in the pipeline. So ano-ano po ito?
In the, Your Honor, in the pipeline, there is New Zealand, which has been signed already.
Sorry,
but-
what was that?
With New Zealand,
New Zealand.
a
Okay.
SOFA, which has been signed but not yet ratified.
Okay.
We also, what is now in the, there's supposed to be a signing of Canada. I understand that the Minister of National Defense will be visiting the Philippines for the signing of this SOFA with Secretary Chodoro. And then under negotiation is France. So those are the the those that are in the pipeline.
Okay. So there's New Zealand, then there's Canada and France. Yung in the paper sinasabi na meron din daw UK, tas minsan binabanggit India. Wala pa po 'yon.
None whatsoever. We have not
Okay.
discussed that.
Okay. I mean, ang understanding po natin sa mga treaties na ganito, kaya nga po may special provision pa nga sa Constitution, di ba? Requiring that hindi lang executive agreement kung hindi ratified by by both of both countries, di ba? Ratified by both countries. Kasi ang understanding sa Constitution is generally allowing the presence of foreign militaries on Philippine territory is a diminution of our sovereignty, no? So, kaya noon malaking issue na US bibigyan mo ng VFA. Pero ngayon po ang naging foreign policy under Marcos, I mean, yung Australia was in 2007. That was at the height of the war on terror, no? So yun yung parang rational doon. Pero ngayon, under the Marcos administration, yun na nga, you yourself enumerated the agreements that Japan, andyan na, New Zealand, ira-ratify, tapos may pipeline. So, ano po ang, bakit po ganyan? Pakipaliwanag. Bakit po binubukas natin sa militar ng iba't ibang bansa ang ating teritoryo na hindi normal na ginagawa ito ng ibang mga bansa?
Your Honor, I beg to disagree on your statement that you said about diminution of our sovereignty. Well, this has been discussed, these issues have been discussed together with the Department of National Defense. Actually, if you look at it from a cursory opinion, these countries have been very supportive in terms of their statements and some exercises that they have been with, that they join us. It all started with HADR issues, meaning humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. And so it has evolved. And, I think some of these issues here are within the purview also of national defense. And therefore, it has evolved into such having this visiting forces agreement.
Okay. Just, Mr. Chair, just a few, let me just wrap up. Would you agree that these countries are also the close military partners of the United States, no? Both in NATO as well as in the Asia-Pacific, or as the US like to say, the Indo-Pacific? Yung mga nabanggit po, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Japan, of course. Tama po ba? France, you mentioned
Well,
France.
To a certain extent, opo, yes.
Okay.
No, but I still have to emphasize that they have their own remit. I mean,
Okay.
these countries have their own contributions to our defense policies. I see no reason.
Would you also agree that in the event of a war between the US and China, as many people talk about, over Taiwan, that these agreements would allow these US allies to use our territory as a launching pad for on the US side? Kasama na tayo, in other words, no? So ito mga bansa na ito rin naman yung kanilang so-called coalition of the willing. Every time nang gegera ang US o may gera ang US, sila rin naman ang mga kakampi, hindi po ba? So would these agreements do these agreements provide the legal framework that would allow that?
Before we allow the secretary, just to remind the gentleman that his 5-minute
Opo.
time is
Yes, that was my
expired.
last question.
Yes, we will allow the secretary to respond. If the gentleman wishes to continue on
Opo.
with this questioning, he can avail of the second round. Secretary, please
Yes,
respond.
thank you, Mr. Chair. A direct response is that the status of visiting forces is merely a legal framework and subject to Philippine consent. Furthermore, I defer your questions to the Department of National Defense.
But yes or no lang po, does it allow?
Sorry,
Yes or no?
Congressman Tini,
Opo.
I'm so sorry. I have to be strict with the 5-minute
Opo.
rule.
My question
you
was,
can- yeah,
required, yes or no
understand it's very
answer, Chair.
important. It's
Opo.
actually very important. We understand where you're coming from, and we do support the line of questioning. But we have to strict with
Yes.
the
Yes, Chair.
with the rules of this committee that every member would be given 5 minutes time. So you can actually
Thank you, Chair.
continue with the question later on. Anyway, it won't take long kasi there are just few members who wish to ask. You can avail of the second round. Thank you, Congressman Tino, for your understanding. Next is we proceed with Representative Mark Coanco. Thank you, sir. You may proceed. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to comment on finding out that Ghana and Kazakhstan, we are opening relations there. Ghana is pursuing nuclear power aggressively. So Kazakhstan is one of the world's big suppliers of uranium. And so if the Philippines would go nuclear, then Kazakhstan would be a supplier country. And we need to have an intergovernmental agreement with them on this matter. Madam Secretary, I messaged you a few days ago, a week ago, regarding 5 conventions which still need ratification by the Senate. These are the CSC, signed in March 10, 1998, the CNS, signed in October 14, 1994, the JC, signed in March 10, 1998, the 97 Vienna Convention, signed in March 10, 1998, and the Joint Protocol, signed in September 21, 1988. Madam, Mr. Chairman, Madam Secretary, that these conventions are not yet ratified, does it reflect poorly on the Philippines as an international partner, being that our presidents, past presidents, put their signature on these agreements?
Thank you very much, Your Honor. I recall the text that you gave me on this matter. I was just not able to respond immediately as I have to research also with other colleagues. My understanding, Your Honor, is that these instruments of ratification are already signed, as you have mentioned. But the Office of the President has transmitted these conventions for the Senate consideration and concurrence.
During the 19th
19th Congress.
That's right.
Yes.
So it needs to be retransmitted.
As discussed with the Committee on Foreign Relations in the Senate, it has to go back again to us, send it again to the same process, bring it to the Office of the President, and
I beg to disagree, Mr. Chairman. Yesterday, I had a meeting with the DENR Secretary Lotilla, who was our former DOE Secretary, and he asked for my help regarding this certification, this COCs. And he said that there should be no need to execute a new COC even if there's a new secretary appointed, as long as it's the same administration, the Marcos administration. So I hope we do not allow bureaucrats to restart this and jeopardize our opportunities because we have not ratified these conventions. Madam Secretary, I have called the ODESCA, and I have also messaged Executive Secretary, the Executive Secretary, and please follow up with them. And when we finally get this, a letter requesting this from the Senate, could you do me a favor, a personal favor, and write a letter to each senator appealing for the ratification of these conventions, these 5 very important conventions to the country, Madam. So yes, I have to ask one more question before I go, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, maybe who would want to answer here, strategically, because of our current geopolitical situation, is there no advantage to the Philippines recognizing Taiwan as an independent, self-determining, democratic country?
Your Honor, to respond to your question, the Department of Foreign Affairs only adheres to the one China policy. To your question, if there is a possibility, this will be a decision of probably other government agencies and all the way up to the President. As long as the 1975 joint communique states that this is the situation, that the ROC, that the PROC will be taking over the functions, or rather that of the Republic of China, which is Taiwan. We adhere to it, we're the vanguard of it, and the one China policy. And we only recognize one legal government, which is the People's Republic of China.
I made that statement because, and I asked the question, because if there will be conflict in the West Philippine Sea, Taiwan will be our ally. And it seems to be that we are half-baked in our treatment of that ally. So maybe because China does not change its attitude of belligerence, of using force to bully and intimidate, I think we should also re-examine our position vis-a-vis our treatment of Taiwan, an ally.
Mr. Chair, ours is a policy decision. Perhaps to your recommendation, there is an operational part to it, and that's what you have described. So as Department of Foreign Affairs, this is our policy, and we will adhere to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Coangco. Now we proceed to the next interpellator from the minority, Representative Robert Nazal. Sir, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Madam Secretary. In 2024, Madam, the total available appropriations of the DFA amounted to 30 billion 902 million 392. However, you were only the department was only able to obligate 20 billion 916 million, leaving around 9.9 billion in unused appropriations. This is practically 1/3 of your total available appropriation. Can you please explain the inability of the DFA to fully utilize its 2024 budget?
Yes, Your Honor, I give the floor to our Assistant Secretary for Fiscal Management.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. There were two significant factors that contributed to this. One is the delayed implementation of the retrofitting project, and another is the low availment of yung ating ATN funds. Yes. So there were less overseas Filipinos in need of assistance.
What is the, ano po yung first? What was the first?
Ito ho yung retrofitting project for our old building
Okay.
along Rojas Boulevard.
And how much is the
Nasa mga
allocation?
500 million ho yun. Yes.
500 million. So yun yung na-delay.
Yes, na-delay ho yun.
Okay.
And
So
then-
that's part of the 9.9.
Correct.
Ano po yung pangalawa?
The other is the low utilization ng assistance to nationals funds. And we usually get 1.2 billion a year, 1 billion for ATN and 200 million for legal assistance.
What's the reason for the low utilization?
Well, for one, we already have itong Department of Migrant Workers, so many of the work was transferred to them.
Okay. So, but that still leaves you with around 8 billion?
Yes. Another is yung ating e-passport project. There's been lower demand for passports because of the 10-year validity. So dati ho, 5 years lang yan. So less people are renewing now. Yes. Yes. And we expect an uptick by 2027, 2028 because it was first implemented itong 10-year validity in 2018.
So for 2025, based on your projections, the DFA is projected to have a 7.8 billion 945 7.8 billion in unused appropriations. So what are the efforts being taken to ensure that the funds being requested and made available will be used?
Yes, well, thank you, Your Honor. We are undertaking itong mga tinatawag na catch-up plans, no, making sure that early procurement is undertaken. Secondly, traditionally, marami hong meetings take place in the second half of the year. And also itong mga projects, contracts, ang billing lang ho yan mga towards the end of the year end. So we'll make sure that offices adhere to their work plans so that the budgets will be utilized as scheduled. Yes.
Next question. The DFA has an off-budget account generated from passport fees. So, off-budget accounts are not subject to congressional approval as its generation and use is already provided by existing laws. So, for purposes of transparency, please explain why the actual expenditures for 2024 is far greater than its revenues. The same is true for your projections for 2025 and 2026. So, at this rate, the DFA will use up all its off-budget account, which stands at 602 million as of December 31, 2024.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Is that the intention, to use it all up?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Itong off-budget accounts, ito ho yung passport revolving fund. So currently we have about 600 million there. Yung collections nito, the income is derived from yung expedite fees from passport services. And much of it, yung expenses, is because of yung mga contractuals that we hire. So we foresee with the uptick again of passport applications by 2027, 2028, akyat na hulit yan. Yes.
Okay. I just have a few questions from people who have been asking, who have questions from abroad. So please indulge me. So, ito po yung mga questions na tinatanong sa amin sa FB, knowing that we have a hearing today. So this is from Mr. Daryl Dave Clavicilia Albor. For passport services, since kailangan po natin ng uptick, no? Ano daw po ang mga hakbang ng DFA para mapabilis ang proseso ng passport application at renewal, lalong-lalo na sa probinsya?
Thank you, Your Honor. Can I give the floor to our Chief Coordinator, who was also the former head of Office of Cultural Affairs, please.
Yeah, Ms. Obinya.
Oblena.
Obena, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Obinya, please respond.
Your Honor, currently, our turnaround times for passport services is 10 working days for consular offices. But we do have an expedited process wherein we have a turnaround time of 5 working days. And I wish to inform also your honors that besides our office in Asiana, we have 42 consular offices all around, all over the country who service our kababayans, especially those who are far from here in Metro Manila.
Where can we see po the list of offices and where they're located?
It's, we can provide you the list, but it was in our presentation, but we will provide it to you, sir. And also, the Office of Consular Affairs also has a new Facebook page, and we also have the list of our consular offices there po. We just launched our new Facebook page so to be able to serve our kababayans better.
How do we serve areas such as GIDA sites? Yung mga ano po, geographically isolated areas.
Sir, may I? Yes.
Please.
Yes. Sir, Your Honor, for those places wherein there are no consular offices within the city or within the province or within the town, we could provide passport on wheels services. But
So we can do that.
have guidelines for that, including there's a minimum of, we should be able to service 200 people per day because it does, there is a cost to our manpower because we do, our manpower are all concentrated in Asiana, and if we do passport on wheels, then we need to deploy them to these places. So it depends on the location, sir. Kung talagang malayo po sila sa CO or to the consular office, then we can schedule a passport on wheel service depending on the request from the LGU. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next question.
Yeah, please, you still have time.
Thank you, thank you. So, for consular services, ito po, please indulge me. Online po ito. So, may plano po ba ang DFA na dagdagan ang bilang ng consular offices para mas mapalapit ang serbisyo sa mga mamamayan?
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. We do have a list already. We have a pending list of consular offices to be opened, but it has to go through a process including approval from the Department of Budget and Management and also from the Office of the President. And we have a criteria for the opening of consular offices, including a clientele of 75,000 or more outside the NCR, or 300,000 or more if within the NCR in any given year, including other criteria. In fact, Your Honor, a few of the representatives present here today have followed up with the request for COs, and we are going to try to coordinate with them with the process. Thank you, Your Honor.
So how many do we intend to put up this year?
This year, Your Honor, we have requested for 6 COs. But only one has been approved. And that is in Katarman, Samar. And we are starting the NOSCA, notice of, yes, the NOSCA has already been issued by the DBM, so we hope to be able to open our CO in Katarman in a few months.
Can you submit a list to my office, please? Thank
Yes,
you.
Your Honor.
And next question. Ito po, galing kay Mr. Jason Garcia, isa pong nagtatrabaho sa abroad. Bakit po masusungit ang mga staff nila sa mga embassy at consulate sa abroad?
Yusek De Vega, please respond. Bakit daw masusungit yung mga staff nyo?
Thank you very much po, Your Honor. Thank you very
Kaya
much.
nakasmile kayo ngayon
Oo nga
lahat
po.
dito eh.
Thank you very much po, Mr. Chairman, and thank you very much po, Congressman, for bringing that question from one of our kababayans to our attention. We can assure you po that on the part of the Department of Foreign Affairs and our foreign service posts and our consular offices, client service is one of the pillars of our public service overall, and we do take measures, and we do have a program of training and retooling of our personnel to ensure not only that they know exactly what they're doing, and what they're doing is in line with the procedures under our existing guidelines and regulations, but that they also perform their duties in the best way possible to provide the best service to our clientele. If I may share po, a personal practice that some of our colleagues do and that I myself do, we put a small mirror po. We require our frontline personnel to have a small mirror sa may window po, lalo na po yung mga processors namin para nakikita po nila yung itsura po nila, lalo na po at the end of the day, para siguraduhin po hindi lang sa umaga po medyo maayos po, fresh ang itsura, pero hanggat magsara po kami for our services for the day. But we can assure you that we will continue to monitor closely and make sure that our people serve to the best of their ability also, and to make sure that our public, our kababayans, those overseas and here in the Philippines, get the best service possible. Salamat po, sir, for the question.
May I ask Congressman Nadal, asan country yan na yung OFW? Para malaman, ma-single out natin kasi, saan ba yan? Saan galing? Okay. So we can also advise that embassy or consulate to be more
Dalawin natin, Mr. Chair.
friendlier to, diba?
But we will find out. We will find out from the online respondent. Jeddah.
Jeddah, Saudi
Jeddah.
Arabia. Okay.
Baka ho kasi sa Jeddah ba nakatakip?
We will remind po our post po, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, you still
I still
have
have
30
time?
seconds. Yeah, please
Okay.
wrap up. Yeah.
So, under Republic Act 11861, yung COs po and JOs of all departments, lalo na yung for the solo parents, they're allowed a 7-day parental leave. So I just want to ask the Department of Foreign Affairs if this is being applied to your COs and JOs.
Yes, Secretary. That will be your last question, sir.
Last three?
No, last one lang.
Okay.
Nag-expire na talaga. But you can avail of the second one if you want to.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can I request our Assistant Secretary for Administration to respond to that?
Mr. Chair, with your permission, Mr.
Yeah,
Chair.
please. Yes.
Yes, bearing in mind civil service regulations, Your Honor, that COs and GOs are technically not, we don't have employer-employee relationship. This benefit, as far as we're concerned, is not, they don't have entitlement to this benefit of solo parent leave this time.
That's why, ASEC, kaya po yung
sorry.
under RA 11.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry. Gusto ko sana pagbigyan kayo lahat, but we are still really have to
It's still
strictly
within
impose
it's
the
still within the
5-minute rule.
topic,
Yeah,
Mr.
but
Chair.
you can, the gentleman can avail of the next round para po maayos kasi 5
sige,
minutes
sige,
talaga
sige.
po, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Maganda po
Thank
yung
you.
mga tanong nyo eh. Gusto ko lang po marinig mamaya. So we proceed to the next interpellator. Representative Maria Rachel Arenas.
Good
Yes,
afternoon,
ma'am.
everyone.
Yeah, 5
Mr.
minutes,
Chair,
ma'am.
I will not be directing any questions to the DFA at this time, as I have had the privilege of working closely with the department in the previous Congress. And I'm very pleased to continue this collaboration as the re-elected chairperson of the Committee on Foreign Affairs. Last Congress, we forged a strong and effective partnership with the DFA, resulting in several truly remarkable achievements, legislation that had been pending for decades. Among these, we've successfully passed the new Philippine Passport Act, the Philippine Maritime Zones Act, the Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act, the Loss and Damage Fund Board Act, and the DFA Retirement Benefits. These milestones reflect the power of sustained cooperation between the legislative and the executive. I also want to express our deep appreciation to the DFA for the unwavering support you provide us, particularly when we represent the country abroad. Your assistance with passports, the repatriation of our constituents, and the support you extend to our overseas Filipino workers in distress are invaluable. While some of these functions has been transferred to the Department of Migrant Workers, but whenever we call you, you consistently respond promptly whenever we raise urgent concerns, and this dedication does not go unnoticed and is deeply appreciated. As we move forward with today's budget discussions, I urge our colleagues to ensure that the DFA is equipped. I'm sure Congressman Rufus has already manifested that many times. With the resources, or if we can even give them more. It needs to continue its vital work in promoting the Philippines' interest abroad. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for your manifestation of support, Chairman Arenas. We proceed with the next interpellator from the minority, Representative Parlo Marcoleta. Sir, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 4 questions. The DFA on the issue of China and the West Philippine Sea as a backdrop. The DFA underscores that it will remain steadfast in upholding the interest in the West Philippine Sea anchored on UNCLOS and the 2016 arbitral ruling. Question is, what specific diplomatic, legal, and multilateral mechanisms will DFA fund in 2026?
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, you have mentioned the different levels of support that and commitment that the Department of Foreign Affairs is giving in this issue of the West Philippine Sea. But your question is, what are those that we will fund? Actually, Your Honor, we have the International Commitment Fund, which actually is the fund that takes care of all issues. I mean, in the United Nations and other intergovernmental organizations. This has been a very important budgetary element of the Department of Foreign Affairs. Secondly, that's on the international level. On the regional level, there's ASEAN, and we have been an active member of ASEAN. And as I mentioned earlier, 2026 is the chairship of ASEAN. There will be a good number of activities. As I mentioned, 645 meetings, particularly on the political security aspect. We will be discussing a good myriad of issues on this, and of course on the bilateral. We continue our mechanisms that we have been executing, and actually we're just awaiting for the dates of the bilateral mechanism, BCM, bilateral consultation mechanism on the South China Sea with China. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. And Mr. Chair, since you mentioned the ASEAN chairship, how will the 193 million ASEAN chairship budget be leveraged to secure regional consensus on the South China Sea?
I thank you, Your Honor. I give the floor to Undersecretary Helen De Vega and to discuss this particular issue.
Yusek de la Vega, you recognize.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, and thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. And to the question of the esteemed esteemed member of Congress, would just like to mention that for the 193 million that we're looking at for funding of DFA ASEAN is basically to cover the support for the ministerial meetings that will take place in 2026. And in those ministerial meetings that would cover issues related to areas that we are very much concerned, including the commemorative activity for the 50 years of the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia, sir.
Okay, thank you. On the highlighted 11 maritime dialogue mechanisms, which of these mechanisms directly involve China, and how will the DFA measure their effectiveness given the escalating incidents in the WPS?
I would just like to confirm, Your Honor, that we have indeed 11 bilateral maritime dialogues. But we also have a bilateral meeting with China, which the Secretary has mentioned, and this is also covered within the context of the ASEAN-China meeting on our negotiations on the Code of Conduct, sir. I mean, I'd be happy to answer any further.
Yes, one final question before I make a manifestation, if the chair would oblige. Because the Constitution states that we renounce war in our national policy, could you kindly explain to us our rather strong posturing against China? And has our aggressive, rather provocative stance protecting our sovereignty reaped a positive effect so far? And what other strategies is the Philippines undertaking to ensure that as we protect our sovereignty, we are able to maintain our standing in Asia with our economic partners, which still includes China?
Your Honor, I think the question of Your Honor, Madam Secretary, refers to how do we continue to advance our policy with regard to our constitutional, that we will maintain an independent foreign policy and strengthen that vis-a-vis our relations with other countries as well. And so I think that to begin with, we can start with the most important country, and that is, for instance, China. And with China, what we have been doing is that, for instance, just a quick background, that when we marked the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations on 9 June 2025, we had organized various commemoration activities with the Philippine Embassy in Beijing and the Chinese Embassy in Manila, along with the Filipino-Chinese organizations, because we still feel that basically the real foundation of our relationship is on the people-to-people exchanges. And we remain to this day committed to pursue our comprehensive strategic cooperation on the basis of mutual benefit and mutual respect as two equal sovereign states. And we remain to be committed to our long-standing policy of open and active engagement with China as a close neighbor. And we continue to be guided by the foundation principle again, that we have a long history of friendship with the Chinese people, sir. So maybe there are episodes, really, some pockets of issues that we're now facing, but I think it's really very important that in our chairship, we will remain to use the primacy of dialogue and diplomacy in all our undertakings, vis-a-vis not only with China but with the rest of the world. Because as the President said, it will remain to be friends to everybody and enemies to none. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Opo, just as a manifestation, kasi lately, naging matigas po ang ating tono pagdating po sa pag-assert ng ating teritoryo. At ito po ba ay nakatulong sa pag-aano natin, sa pag-assert ng teritoryo, lalo lang nating ginagalit ang ating kapitbahay. Ang ano ko kasi, ang sa akin lamang po, baka we might be uh, sending a wrong message to our youth na a sense of nationalism or being nationalistic is being adverse or hostile to China. Baka yun ang tinuturo po natin sa ating mga kabataan. Ganun po ba ang ating gustong iparating na kamalayan ng a strong sense of nationalism is being anti-China? Samantalang sa kabilang banda, tayo naman ay patuloy pa rin tumatangkilik ng mga serbisyo na more or less China-made or China-infused ang capital. Like GCash, Shopee, TikTok, Temu, at dyan, kung pupunta kayo sa kalsada natin, bawat 5 metro may BYD na sasakyan, which is I think a flagship automotive car maker ng China. So, hindi ko po maintindihan kung ano po ang gusto nating ituro na sa mga kabataan. Sometimes, mayroon pong mga pumupunta sa mga universidad, ganito dapat, ipaglaban. But do we have the capability? Number one. Number two, ito ba ang tamang itinuturo natin na sense of nationalism para sa ating mga kabataan? Yun lang po.
Your Honor, maraming salamat po doon sa inyong statement na yon. Isa lang po masasabi ko na to respond to that. The West Philippine Sea, this issue natin sa katubigan, is not the sum total of our relations. In other words, alam po yan ng ating mga kaibigan sa China that ito pong mga nangyayari sa tubig, the dispute, is one part. But the rest, trade, if you look at trade statistics, trade is robust with China. Of course, investments have really gone down. So, but continues pa rin ho, like we have with DOST, may mga projects so on oceanographic, maritime areas. Continues po sa ASEAN. In ASEAN, we have a very strong discussions, healthy and robust relations. In fact, we're looking forward for this ASEAN summit, ASEAN chairship, because China will be a very important dialogue country. So sa paningin po ng kagawaran ng panlabas, hindi po iba po yung paningin namin. Ito nga yung sinasabi ng Pangulo na lahat ay mga kaibigan natin. At ito po tinatabi po namin sa isang lugar. As I said, it's not the dispute in the waters is not the sum total of our relations. Madami ho yan. People to people, very healthy po yan.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Mr. Chair, that's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Marcoleta. May we call on the next interpellator from the majority, Representative Munir Arbison Sr. Sir, you have 5 minutes.
Ay, maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman. Magandang hapon sa atin lahat. This representation would just like to inquire from Madam Secretary if the DFA has the number of jailed Filipino in Sabah, Malaysia. It so happened that most of the jailed Filipino are from Sulu.
Thank you po. Your Honor, I would request my colleague from Assistant Secretary for Asia Pacific Affairs to respond.
Good afternoon po, Your Honors. According to our records...
Ma'am, I'm sorry, you have to speak closer to the microphone so we can hear you.
Good afternoon po, Your Honors. According to our records and our embassy and our posts, we were informed that there are currently none. There are a number of Filipinos that are in detention for some sort of entry violations. And we are currently still checking how many are currently imprisoned as per your question po. So if you give us some time just to dig out the information, sir, we'll revert to you immediately po.
Thank you for the information. We know for a fact that we do not have any political or diplomatic ties with Sabah. Pero sana matulungan natin yung mga kababayan natin doon kahit maglagay lang tayo ng monitoring team to see to it na magandang kalagayan nila.
Your Honor, gusto ko pong sagutin yun. Ang embassy po natin sa Kuala Lumpur, yes, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, has given and devoted a lot of its time. In fact, half of the staff complement has always been directing its work towards Sabah. Almost on a monthly basis, nagpupunta po yung mga taga-embassy sa Sabah and trying to provide them with consular assistance. Karaniwan po kasi is wala sila mga dokumento. So tumutulong din po ang ibang mga ahensya ng gobyerno tulad ng PSA to provide them with documents and then binibigyan po sila ng pasaporte. Nagkakaroon po rin ng mga situations na dadalhin sila tapos sa isang lugar at babalik sila sa Mindanao, certain parts of Mindanao. Ano po 'yon? It's a continuing process. Pati ho ako na nakikipag-uusap po ako sa mga during our bilateral consultations at hinihingi namin na bigyan ng tamang paningin at aruga ang ating mga Pilipino who are in that situation. Hindi pa lang po masyadong naayos pero we're going towards that direction. Hopefully po we'll be able to give you some kind of results, tangible results on how we take care of our Filipinos in that area at the appropriate time.
Madam Secretary, maraming salamat at sana ma-realize natin yun kasi as reported, may mga na-detain doon ng mga siguro mga 5 years na yung iba second 2 years na. So sana matulungan natin ito. Hindi naman ito mga drug related pero ano lang sila yung naghahanap buhay lang doon.
Sir, I'd like to take on that particular issue, Mr. Secretary. Does that mean that there's no concrete assistance and action that we extend to these detained Filipinos in Sabah?
Assistance, definitely. I'll even go beyond taking care of their documentation. There's even our Department of Health provides vaccination to the young.
As to the detained Filipinos in Sabah, as mentioned by Congressman Arbison, I believe I heard also that there are quite a number of Filipinos who are from Sulu, and trying to enter Sabah. Unfortunately, without lack of proper documentation, that's why they were detained in Sabah. But they were there in the detention facility for, again, according to Congressman Orbison, 5 years. And since we're asking DFA what exactly is the status of all these detained Filipinos, what assistance have we provided them, legal assistance, etc., so that we can facilitate the immediate release of this detention? How do we go about with Malaysia? How do we coordinate with our embassy in Malaysia in order that we can secure the release of these detained Filipinos? So we don't have a data on that?
Meron ba? Meron daw ba?
As of June this year, ito po yung serving.
Yes, please po. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I have now certain statistics here as to the time serving, those who are serving sentence, there's about 1,730 and 543 are detained. 3,846 are immigration cases. So this is the statistics, but I just have to assure you that our embassy in KL is very much on top of this. Legal assistance is being provided because we have the legal assistance fund, which Congress has kindly provided us. So, except that this is continuous discussions with our Malaysian counterparts.
But I hope our embassy in Malaysia and I hope the FA can really put this as one of their priorities. We don't want to cause any other, further, cause further trouble. At least diplomatically, you know what I mean, Madam Secretary.
Yes, Your Honor.
These people are Filipinos, though they may lack certain documents, but they are natural-born Filipinos. And sabi nga ni Congressman Orbison, unfortunately, their livelihood, they rely so much on their income and livelihood with trading with Malaysia. So I hope that our embassy there can facilitate and perhaps can extend help to these detained individuals, Filipino citizens. And maybe we can put this as one of our talking points with Malaysia. Maybe we can make this as one of our priorities with Malaysia.
Yes, Your Honor,
please,
definitely.
Thank you.
I just
personally
want-
appeal to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go
Make this as a
further, and
priority.
if you allow us, we'll give you a document that clearly stipulates
Thank you.
all that we have done for our Filipinos in Sabah.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Maraming salamat, Madam Chair.
Thank you,
Maraming salamat, Chair.
Congressman Arbison. So we proceed to the next interpellator from the minority, Representative Iris Montes. Thank you. Ma'am, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon po. Good afternoon, Madam Secretary. Mr. Chair, we are pleased that after more than 2 decades, another woman is once again at the helm of the Department of Foreign Affairs. However, we are expecting more from Madam Secretary in terms of the attention to be given to the plight of our women OFWs and their families. Bilang kinatawan po ng party list na nagrepresenta ng kababaihan, nais ko pong bigyang diin ang kahalagahan ng malinaw at sapat na pondo sa panukalang 2026 budget ng departamento para sa kapakanan ng ating mga kababaihang OFW at kanilang pamilya. Alam naman po natin na sila ang nakakaranas ng pang-aabuso, minamaltrato, nalalagay sa alanganing sitwasyon at tungkulin ng pamahalaan na tiyakin ang kanilang proteksyon at kagalingan. So I have several questions, Mr. Chair. On the department's budget allocation and priorities, how much of the DFA's proposed 2026 budget is specifically earmarked for programs and services benefiting women OFWs and their families?
Thank you. Salamat po, Madam, Your Honor. This is a gender and development issue. Gusto ko pong sumagot ang ating ang Assistant Secretary natin for Administration. Please. Tama ba?
With your permission.
Please proceed. Respond.
Well, in terms of gender and development within the organization, within DFA, Madam Chair, Your Honor, we were cited by COA last year in their audit as among those departments that have complied with the 5% threshold in our overall budget. No? In fact, our utilization was quite high. It's about, I think, at 8 to 9% of total budget. No? Insofar as caring for our women OFWs, we regularly conduct training seminars for our gender focal points in all our foreign service posts, including here in the Philippines, to provide gender sensitivity trainings, gender awareness trainings, particularly focusing on our women or female OFWs, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, idadagdag ko lang po, Your Honor, that so the gender sensitivity is very important to us. Pero ang talaga pong in charge din, balik na lang po ako sa Department of Migrant Workers din po.
Thank you. Ano po ang porsyento ng 1 billion at assistance to National Nino and 200 million legal assistance fund is dedicated to cases involving women OFWs, particularly those experiencing abuse, trafficking, or contract violations?
Thank you, Your Honor. I give the floor to our Assistant Secretary for Migration.
Thank you, Madam, Mr. Chair. Thank you, ma'am. We have, in most cases, data that are aggregated by male and female, but unfortunately, some also says NDA or non-data available. And from studying the data, I see that most of the NDA are really in crisis situations where they were not able to aggregate the data. If you just give me a second, ma'am.
Okay. So while waiting po siguro, let me just manifest, Mr. Chair, that like my other manifestations in the other departments, I would also like to request from the DFA to, if possible, kung kaya po, to endeavor to have a disaggregated data on men and women, hindi lang po yung sa compliance sa GAD budget. Gusto rin po nating malaman yung sa ibang programa para mas makabuo po tayo ng mga polisiya at programa na angkop at tama sa ating mga constituents. So, sige po, sir. You may continue.
Yes, ma'am. For example, in cases pending or detained, male ang 934. Ang female po is 535. Ang cases that are not detained but pending, ang male is 1,014 and female 1,489, or a total of 2,503. We also have data for the types of sentence by male and female, and also resolved cases for those who've pleaded guilty, sentence served, and executed. In general, we try to divide it by gender, and it is only in some where I see that repatriation, the gender aggregation has not been or segregated perfectly. Siguro po dahil pag emergency minsan nawawala na yung DWIT, although importante din po. We can try to later on submit a full listing together with the cost that had been allocated by gender po.
Maraming salamat po. On programs and services, meron po ba tayo na bago or expanded program sa 2026 budget that directly address the vulnerabilities of women OFWs such as sexual harassment, domestic abuse, or human trafficking?
Your Honor, being just kung 2026 po, this will be within the purview of the Department of Migrant Workers po.
Okay, thank you po. Do we have or do we continue to have processes and measures to help strengthen partnerships with host countries so that we can avoid abuses to our women, especially women OFWs? Meron po ba tayong ginagawa? May ginawa o patuloy na ginagawa para dyan po?
Your Honor, may ginawa, patuloy na ginagawa. Ito po ay embodied, again, in partnership with Department of Migrant Workers. Dito po nakasaad yan sa mga bilateral labor agreements. Meron po mga bayan na hindi na namin kailangan yan, kagaya ng Europe is very strong na ang kanilang mga human rights issues. Pero gusto ko pong sabihin na ang bilateral labor agreements na kinukonclude at this very time is very strict on those aspects that you mentioned.
Thank you so much, Madam Secretary. Siguro po, sa panghuli na lamang po, nais ko lang bigyan ulit ng diin at nagpapasalamat po ako sa Department of Foreign Affairs sa ginagawa nila at mga ginawa nila upang mapabuti ang kalagayan ng ating mga OFWs, lalo na po ang ating mga kababaihan. But let me stress also na ang ating ginagastos para sa kanila ay hindi talaga gastusin. Ito po ay investment para sa kanilang karapatan, dignidad at kinabukasan, hindi lamang po ng ating mga kababaihan, kundi pati ang buong pamilya. Maraming salamat po. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That would be all.
Thank you, Ma'am Representative Montes. May we now recognize Vice Chairman Roger Mercado? Sir, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, to my friend and very amiable, fitting Secretary of Foreign Affairs. Dapat naman, ma'am, kasi at to our undersecretaries, assistant secretaries, my colleagues, good afternoon po. Actually, I do not want to make interpellations or questions because I feel that there are people who are tasked to this. These are high-level decisions when you say about when you talk about China or mine is only an expression of the people in the provinces. Firstly, we uphold the independence of our country. We do not want we want to be free from nuclear armaments, abiding by the provisions of the Constitution. Our concern is, well, before I will go to that, I would like to express, before I will forget, that this humble representation will definitely support, the budget of the DFA, and we would like to thank DFA for your efforts in helping our OFW. There are some coming from our province, and I know that you are really helping them. Thank you very much, ma'am, and DFA. So, in the province, and I believe it's also the sentiment of my colleagues in Congress, that we do not want to go to war. I think, after watching all the devastations in the World War II, World War I, the battle of in Britain, and it's really, and my great-grand parents were veterans of war. They suffered war, actually, ma'am. No? So, we do not want war. And what we want is, of course, repatriation. We want tourists to come. We want our environment to be protected, and we want our agriculture to develop. So, if there are countries that we can tie up and support us on this, even China, because I think they are our friends also, they are welcome. We have, our airport is almost complete, and we can use our airport in Maasin City, Southern Leyte, ma'am, and even help promote economic development so that we can also contribute to the economy of our country. We have beautiful islands, beaches, people are very respectful, humble, hardworking, Very nice. I hope you can visit Maasin, ma'am. So, that's it, ma'am. I will not push for more hard questions, although I'm writing some, but I do not want to meddle in very delicate matters that involves, we have our president, we have you, we have the Secretary of National Defense, we have all these people who are more knowledgeable. So I will just limit my manifestation on our needs. So in the province, we need economic development. No. So that's all, Mr. Chairman. Ma'am, thank you very much. To the DFA family, thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Roger Mercado, for your manifestation of support. May we now call on Vice Chair Laarni Roque. You have 5 minutes. Ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon to our very hardworking Secretary of our Department of Foreign Affairs, Secretary Lazaro, and of course the rest of the family. Of course, former ambassador to South Korea, my dear friend, Yusek. Oh, Yusek na. Yusek Tess De Vega. Anyway, I would like to ask and inquire about passport application and renewal procedures for individuals with special needs. My inquiry concerns potential exemptions or accommodations that may be available to streamline the process of applicants with disabilities.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, I request our Chief Coordinator to respond to that question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, in OCA and all our consular offices, and I think some of our posts, we do have a courtesy lane and walk-in accommodations for eligible applicants, including senior citizens, persons with disabilities, pregnant women, minors, solo parents, and so on. And in the courtesy lane, they are more accommodating because we know these are people with special needs. So it's easier for the people to ask questions because a lot of our services now are online. But in the courtesy lane, we know that there are people who are not very tech savvy and computer literate. But in the courtesy lane, which caters for the senior citizens, for the PWDs, they are very accommodating and they answer a lot of questions. And we also have a lot of hotlines. They're all available in the website. In our Facebook, we also have our messenger. We have a whole team answering questions. We also have a client relations section who can answer all questions. And if there are even more special needs, you can just email me. So,
Follow-up
thank you
lang,
po.
Mr. Chair. Thank you, ma'am. But then again, there are places like our area in Bukidnon, we do not have any consular offices, and we do have to transport our individuals who have special needs, and it will be very, very far. Like in our case, it's like more than 100 kilometers to travel for them to apply for a passport. Is there any other way, like for example, aside from the, of course, the caravan that they have every now and then, but then again, some of our special needs individuals cannot even walk
Yes.
or go to that place. Is there any other kind of procedure that will cater to our
Your Honor, besides our passport on wheels, we have another kind of mobile passport service which caters to those who are bedridden, who have other medical needs. So, Your Honor, if we can make a request with regard to that, we can make a special mobile passport service for that. It's different from our passport on wheels. This really caters for the people that you're talking about.
All right. Will this be applicable also for those who already have a passport and for the renewal? Because sometimes nowadays
Your Honor.
we just send our passports and renew them, but then again, is there any other special accommodation for people with special needs?
Your Honor, at present, our passport would, even the renewal of the passport would need the capturing of biometrics. That's why personal appearance is needed. But now we're working on our new generation passport, and for senior citizens and for people with disabilities, it is possible that and according to the new Passport Act, then we can have a provision wherein no personal appearance is necessary. We just have to, we indulge your patience because we're working on this new generation passport, and these issues will be addressed directly po.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I don't have any other further questions. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma'am Laarni. Now that's it for the first round. So we proceed with the second round. I believe Deputy Minority Leader availed earlier of the second round. Congressman Tino, Deputy Minority Leader
Thank you, Chair.
Tino, you have additional 5 minutes.
Sige, thank you. Thank you, Chair. Oh, pag naubos, third round. Joke lang po. Okay, follow up lang po sa mga ilang tanong ko kanina. Earlier, we heard a very strenuous affirmation of the One China policy from our DFA Secretary. No? So, kaya po ang tanong ko, may kaugnayan dyan, recent statements made by the President this August regarding war over Taiwan. Sabi po niya sa international media, we do not want to go to war, but I think if there is a war over Taiwan, whether we like it or not, we will be drawn and dragged into that mess. And then we cannot just leave them, meaning OFWs, there. We will have to do something. So inevitably, despite our fervent wish to avoid any confrontation with anybody anywhere, a war over Taiwan will drag the Philippines kicking and screaming into the conflict. Sinabi po ito ng Pangulo. So, Mr. Chair, how is this, ang mga kailangang highlight po, if we parse the statement of the President, yung inevitable, tsaka it is inevitable that we will be dragged into the war. No? Una, mabigat yung inevitable. Parang wala tayong magagawa. And then dragged into is very broad. So how does the DFA, since the President is the sole architect, di ba, of foreign policy, siya ang nagseset, how does the DFA interpret this in a way that is consistent with, what you just said about the One China policy?
Thank you, Your Honor. With that remarks that he made when he was in India, actually, it is clear that the President said nothing new in terms of policy and did not speak of nor remotely hint at interference. The President reiterated that the Philippines remains committed to the One China policy, that we have legitimate interests in Taiwan by virtue of geographic proximity and the presence of almost 200,000 Filipinos, and that we encourage concerned parties to refrain from the use of force and to settle differences peacefully. We reiterate the President did not deviate from the principle of non-interference in others' internal affairs. It's a principle of the joint communique.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sa Middle East, no, like right now, Gaza, Israel, marami pong OFWs doon, tama po ba? Of course. Pero have we inevitably been dragged into war because of that?
No, no, we have actually made a statement on the Gaza issue.
I will ask you about Gaza later.
Okay.
Pero yun lang pong, ang punto ko lang, it was actually more of a rhetorical point na kahit may OFW tayo, hindi po inevitable na we will be dragged into war, we will be involved in the war. Yun lang po ang gusto nating ipunto rito. Nothing is inevitable when it comes to war. Even geographic proximity. No? I mean, World War II, Switzerland remained neutral while World War II raged all around it, di ba? So, ang point po, war is always a conscious political choice by the executive. No? Kaya po, medyo nababahala tayo na ganito. The president could very well have said, no, we will not be dragged into war. Pero instead, he said, inevitable. Kailangan iugnay po natin ito dun sa earlier tanong ko na ang administrasyong ito nakapokus sa paglatag ng legal framework para magamit ang Pilipinas na lunsaran ng US-led coalition in the event of a war in Taiwan. No? Okay, so yun lang po ang gusto nating idiin. Now, next question, Palestine. Nabanggit nyo na po yung Gaza. Last September 2024, I believe it was reported in the news that the Philippines voted in favor of a UN resolution recognizing that the occupation of Israel of the Palestine is illegal. Tama po ba? Did I recap that correctly?
If you're talking about the recent, first, just to lay the premise, almost all of the resolutions at the UN on the Palestinian issue, we've always supported Palestine.
Okay.
I think we're the first, or one of the first in ASEAN, who already had the two-state principle in mind. More so, we're one of the first also who has had a Palestinian embassy here in Manila. So that is something that we're very proud of.
Okay.
However, if the latest position that we have again, and we made a position just about a week or 2 weeks ago, that we will continue to support the two-state solution consistent with the UN resolutions that have been passed, and the only viable path toward a just, lasting, and comprehensive peace in the region. Very emphatic po tayo dyan.
Okay. Maganda po yung
please wrap
position
up
na yun.
po, sir, no? Congressman Tino.
Opo.
Yeah.
Ang huling tanong po ay, well, we can say, definitively say that the ongoing genocide of Palestinians by Israel is one of the worst crimes against humanity in this century. Para sa akin, ganun po. Has the Philippine government taken a stand to condemn this genocide and to call for an immediate ceasefire, humanitarian relief to the people of Gaza? No, of course, kailangan pa nating ipaalala na si Netanyahu mismo merong warrant from the ICC. The same ICC where we're looking to deliver justice for the crimes of humanity of Duterte against his own people. So, ano po ang ginagawa nyo? Nire-recognize ba ng gobyerno natin at kinokondina yung genocide ng Israel sa Palestinian people at nananawagan ba ng immediate ceasefire and relief?
Yes, before we, again, I hate my job of reminding my colleagues that their 5-minute
last na po
time
yun.
has expired. But that would be the last question from Congressman Tino. I would like to re-echo also the sentiment of this humble representation when it comes to the issue of the struggle and the sufferings of the people in Gaza. So I would also like that the Philippines would be very much active in calling not just for the immediate ceasefire, but also to send whatever help and assistance we can extend to those people who are now suffering within this. So please respond.
Yes. No, briefly, I just want to say that as far as the ceasefire is concerned, we're very much, of course, we're looking at a very stable ceasefire. As far as assistance, we have been doing or giving funds through the UNRWA, UNRWA, And also on a bilateral basis, we have done that. To your question on genocide, of course, there was this a resolution, or rather, yes, filed by South Africa, and many countries have also joined in on the issue of genocide with the ICJ. However, we also are, this is something that we are really thinking very seriously, because we do have also the relations, diplomatic relations with Israel. And we have about 300,000 Filipinos in Israel that are working. In other words, Department of Foreign Affairs is thinking in a holistic way, holistic basis, and weigh these things. I hope there will be an understanding of how we conduct things. We do not do it just because there's this situation, but we also look into the number of Filipinos who may be or may not be affected. But in its essence, we already have that position about Gaza, and I hope it and I'm sure we will evolve later on to a certain degree on statements, but not as of now. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Madam
Well,
Secretary.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, I know, I understand that
Opo.
your question is very
No,
important.
it's not a question, Mr. Chair.
Would that be a manifestation? But your 5 minutes has already
Manifestation na
expired.
lang po, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so I'll give you, lenient ako, I'll give you an additional 30 seconds po.
Thank you po, Mr. Chair. Well, nanggaling na po sa Secretary no, na consideration kung bakit hindi kinukondina ang genocide ng Israel ay dahil merong mga relasyon ang gobyerno ng Pilipinas na sumusuporta actually sa Israel. Mainly that is the defense relationship. No? Tayo ang one of the biggest buyers of arms for our AFP modernization from Israel. No? Yun po, again, I am glad that the chair has joined in this concern, no, that our government must take a stand, no, na talagang iba yung nangyayari sa Gaza, tinatarget ang mga Palestinong bata, sanggol, mga kababaihan, mga media, no, mga doktor, talagang genocide, crime against humanity. And so that far outweighs whatever benefits that our government derives, particularly the defense relationship, Mr. Chair. So nag-aapila po tayo sa DFA na tumindig at kondinahin at ipatigil ang genocide ng Israel sa Gaza.
Thank you, Representative Tino, for your manifestation. You don't need to respond to that, Secretary, but I would give you time to at least correct some of the, I think there was a mention of selling arms. So just for the record, I give you time to correct that.
For the record.
For the record, based on data.
Thank you, Mr. Honor. No, the defense aspect is not a factor here. In fact, medyo hindi na, well, the Department of National Defense would have been the best position. Pero iba na ho, even our discussions on a bilateral basis, wala hong defense.
Thank you for that response, Secretary. Now, we're down for the last interpellator. Of course, the last but certainly not the least, sabi nga nila. District Representative, 1st District, the Province of Capiz. Meron pa pala. Nagdagdag. Okay, so you're not the last. But certainly you're not the least. So, Deputy Majority Leader Howard Ginto. Sir, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To our Secretary, Secretary Lazaro, to our very caring and very accommodating Undersecretary De Vega. I'm just saying this because last 2023, we were in Korea at the time. Undersecretary De Vega was the one really assisting us and really took care of a whole bunch of congressmen. So thank you very much, and nice to see you here, ma'am. My question, actually, I just wanted to give an update first before I ask my question. This was something that I've been working on since since the 19th Congress, wherein I'm hoping to open a consular office in my district. So, just to provide the feedback, we've already filed a bill. I believe it is already with the Office of the President. There is certain qualifications to meet the opening of a consular office, like the number of possible applications, everything. So we've already passed that, no? We are at the point of already the costings, the capital outlay, personal services, MOOE. Actually, we were even talking up as far as the leasing of spaces, no? So thankfully, I was also able to get the commitment of one of the mall operators, particularly City Mall in our district, that would provide free rent for consular office. My question is, the amount that was mentioned before was about 16 million or about 16 to 18 million. Given I know that the budget of DFA is limited, I was wondering if that amount could be accommodated perhaps during for this NEP, and if not, where can I source that fund from?
Thank you, Your Honor. I give the floor to Undersecretary De Vega.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary, and thank you very much, the Honorable Representative Ginto. We are aware, of course, that the consular office in Rojas City was one of those which was proposed for opening. Although, of course, Your Honor, there is the Executive Order number 45, which sets the criteria for the opening of consular offices. And there are some challenges that we still need to hurdle for the Rojas City office. But we're prepared to sit down with your team, Congressman Ginto, to work out where we can probably address these pending issues, because there's a certain criteria which is not only the DFAs alone. This has to go through the vetting of the Office of the and the approval of the Office of the President po, at pati na po ang Department of Budget and Management. But we can work with your team po on that. But in the meantime po, to also address some of the concerns in terms of the availability of consular services in your area, we actually have a passport on wheels scheduled for September. This week po yan, from 2 to 6 September po sa Capiz.
Thank
you, sir.
Yusek De Vega. Yes, we do have regularly passport on wheels, but it's more because of the limited number of applicants that it can cater per day. Usually, sa city pa lang po, puno na yung slots. So, ang inatry ko po sana ma-accommodate yung other municipalities na bumabiyahe po ng higit 5 oras in public transportation para lang po makakuha ng schedule sa Iloilo. And syempre po, ang Iloilo, we have 5 districts for Iloilo that are all going to the same, no? So, there are times po na hanggang Bacolod po, yung mga constituents namin, umaabot na po hanggang Bacolod. So the expense really is very much because magbabiyahe pa po ng barko, tapos aabutin na po ng gabi, so mag-overnight na. It's very expensive. Yung passport po natin is 1,200, 1,500. Yung gastos po nasa 4,000. Mas mahal pa po, no? Oo, so ito po, malaki pong tulong sa amin kung magagawan po natin ng paraan. I understand there are certain qualifications, but based on our what do you call it, research, we do qualify already based on the number of I think it was 75,000 transactions annually, and we do meet it because the projected transactions is already around 89,000 annually. Yun lang po, Yusek.
Thank you very much, Representative Ginto. We will work with your team po and also look at the fresh figures po, the most current figures po on this. Salamat po, sir.
Thank you, Yusek Vega. Thank you, Madam Secretary Lazaro. And that would be all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Ginto. Now, down to our last na interpolator talaga to. Ay ko pa. Okay. Okay. Of course, you can have all the time you want. You're the chairman naman eh. So Representative John, Attorney JP Padiernos, please. You have 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon to the whole Department of Foreign Affairs. Actually, before going here, I had a hard time trying to formulate questions because the department seems to be doing a great job for the most part. So I just have a few concerns or issues that I wanted to raise to DFA. So, Mr. Chair, the passport appointment system experienced repeated technical glitches and maintenance breakdowns throughout 2024, so causing long delays, website crashes, and forcing Filipinos to wait months for appointments. So this representation would just like to ask if we are still experiencing the same problems in 2025, and if so, why have these glitches and system errors persisted in a system so vital to our citizens? And more importantly, what specific reforms and safeguards will DFA implement in 2026 to ensure that the passport appointment system finally becomes reliable and efficient?
Thank you, Your Honor. I give the floor to the Executive Director of Office of Consular Affairs, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do acknowledge that there were technical problems and technical difficulties affecting the appointment system for passport services, lalong-lalo na ng 2024. The department has a technology partner that it's closely working with regarding yung appointment system po natin. And we are following these technical problems that occurred, which was widely reported din naman po. The Office of Consular Affairs has now conducted a weekly meeting with our technology partner to address all of these concerns. There were some issues before with capacity of the database getting filled up. May mga technical issues din sila regarding connectivity, which is also not automatically their fault because they are also relying, sir, on an internet service provider then to provide connectivity nationwide. So, but not to give that as an excuse, we are in touch with our technology provider and we have addressed the issues that plagued that 2024 problem, sir, for 2025. And then moving forward, we are taking note of all the improvements that we need to rectify because should the department engage or continue getting a service provider for the passport, we will certainly put all of these recommendations together. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, the reason why I'm asking is I would like to know if we need additional budget for the improvement of such system so that, every citizen, lahat po tayo, diba? We have the freedom to travel, right to travel, and our kababayans deserve the best of service, especially yung mga kailangan mag-travel abroad for family or even the OFWs, diba po? So, is that something that we have to take note or we have to push for?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As with any IT project, Mr. Chair, it's a amalgamation of design, capacity, and infrastructure when it comes to IT project implementation. So with regard to the budget requirement, if kailangan pa ba ng additional, sa ngayon po siguro hindi muna dahil po ito pong arrangement naman po ito ay meron po kaming 10-year multi-year obligation authority which was granted to the Department of Foreign Affairs way back 2015 po nung nagsimula itong infrastructure change namin with our current technology partner. So budget-wise naman po, covered naman po ito at saka sila naman po, si technology provider po yung nagpo-provide po ng mga hardware, equipment, and software So na-address naman nila, and they have actually, Mr. Chair, informed the department that they have procured or purchased more additional IT infrastructure to support their system. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have just one more question. With regard to cybersecurity, because based on a news report that was given by Philippine Star and GMA News, there was a data breach that potentially exposed the personal information of 28 million passport holders through the state-owned APO production unit, Incorporated. Passport printer. May we know the status of the same? And follow-up question, have the vulnerabilities been confirmed and secured? And what concrete cybersecurity measures has TFA implemented since 2024 to protect citizens' data?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That incident in 2024 involving cybersecurity, the Department of Foreign Affairs takes that very, very, very seriously. As enunciated by the Secretary herself in this meeting today, that one of our focus areas is cybersecurity. As mentioned, Mr. Chair, the Department of Foreign Affairs has a technology partner whose responsibility it is to implement, develop, and print the passport system. And following those cybersecurity reports from 2024, they have, APO production unit has purchased equipment and necessary cybersecurity appliances, and also instituted changes in their network infrastructure in order to prevent these kinds of things from happening again, sir. The Department of Foreign Affairs as well, the Office of Consular Affairs as well, also takes this matter very seriously. And among our changes also, we have also implemented some changes in our network infrastructure to better align our network practices with the best practice recommendations for security matters. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, that's good to hear. I hope matapos na po yung ating development process, and I'd just like to commend again. I met Secretary Lazaro for many times, and I'd have to say under the leadership of your secretary, we're in good hands. So thank you to the Department of Foreign Affairs, and the department or DFA has my full support in whatever way I can to improve our services, especially for the Filipino people. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Padiernos. For the last interpellator, and I guess she does not need any recognition. She can always just butt in. Chairperson Mika Swansing.
Thank you very much, Representative Adyong. Thank you, Vice Chair, for very well shepherding the passage of the budget of the DFA. So siguro po, please bear with me po. Hihimayin ko lang po yung financials, if that's okay po. Sorry, that's my job po in every budget hearing. Hihimayin po natin yung financials. So siguro po kung pwede po tayong bumalik sa 2024 obligations and BUR, budget utilization rate of the DFA. It says here po in one of the slides, I believe it's slide 9 of the technical details of the presentation. For 2024 po, it says here that there are, if I understand it right po, tama po ba? You went 9.9 billion over the appropriations. Kasi po ang nangyari, if I understand it correctly po, current appropriations plus automatic plus continuing plus special purpose funds, ang total po is 30.902,293. Is that correct po? Yun yung total appropriations for 2024.
Madam Chair, I refer you to our Assistant Secretary for
Yes.
Financial Management.
Medyo confusing lang po kasi yung negative figure dito eh. Kasi po, it says here that utilization rate is at 83.22%. So out of the 30.9 billion appropriations, 20.9 billion was obligated, which means only 83.22% were utilized or obligated. Tama po ba yung interpretation ko, ASEC?
Yes, you're correct, Your Honor. Of the 9.9 billion unused appropriations, much of that is the unreleased amount for the e-passport booklet because it's highly, unutilized because of the low demand for passport applications. Close to 4 billion pesos.
How about, it says here the unreleased appropriations out of the 9.9 billion amount to 5.8 billion. But there are, if yun po ba yung attributed to the e-passport booklet, is it that 5.7?
Yes, you're correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Kasama ho doon yung sa e-passport
Okay.
booklet.
So, siguro po, I would like to understand, what do we intend to do with that? Was that reverted back to the National Treasury? Is it a continuing appropriation for 2025? Ano po yung nangyari sa 5.77 billion na yun?
Ang unused na yung sa e-passports, it's valid for 2 years. So, nagiging continuing appropriations yung hindi nagagamit.
Okay.
So, yung unused last year, continuing ho ngayon.
Do we foresee that that would be used this year? Would that be utilized this year in full?
Not in full. This year, the e-passport budget is about another 4 billion. So, hindi ho magagamit lahat.
Yes, kasi, sige, so, sorry po, bear with me lang po, ASEC, kasi, so, if there were unutilized appropriations for the e-passport booklet of 5.77 billion in 2024,
yes.
Were additional funds allocated for 2025 for the e-passport booklet?
Yes, that's a good question. Your Honor, the e-passport project is under a 10-year MICA, multi-year contractual authority. So it began 2016 and its last year is next year, 2026.
Okay. So, ibig sabihin po, if under MICA siya, every year meron ng predetermined amount, right?
Yes,
so,
that's correct.
I guess my concern, if there's a 5.77 billion, I guess, turnover or like spillover from 2024 to 2025, how much was allocated for the e-passport booklet for 2025 in addition to the 5.77 billion na hindi nagamit ng 2024? Kasi baka po nagpatong-patong kasi pag MICA, may predetermined amount yun every year.
That's correct.
Baka po kailangan natin ng catch-up plan po for the e-passport booklet.
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor. With regard to the e-passport, kasi ho, depende sa demand for passport applications. So it's something beyond our control. And I was explaining earlier, it's because of the 10-year validity now of passports na bumaba ang demand, whereas before it was 5 years. So tuloy-tuloy yung applications. Since it was first implemented 2018, we foresee na by 2027, 2028, aakyat na ulit. So there will be an uptick again in passport applications by then. Yes.
Okay, so yun lang po siguro yung tindihan ko. So for 2026, the FY 2026 budget, as you said, 2026 would be the last year of the MICA for the e-passport booklet. So how much is allocated for 2026?
Yes. Originally, ang na-allocate ho dyan is 4 billion, a little over 4 billion. But in our technical budget hearing with DBM earlier this year, May, we put forth the proposal, why don't we use yung mga hindi magagamit for other priority items? And they agreed naman ho. So about 13 Tier 2 proposals, 2 billion of the e-passport funds were used for that purpose.
Towards, sorry,
Yung mga Tier 2 proposals.
Tier 2, okay,
Yes.
got it. So actually, that was exactly my point. I was driving to that point actually, that I was worried about the the unused appropriations for the e-booklet, that it might actually just keep on adding up year on year. So, kung pwede ko pong tanungin, if you add up all the unutilized funds under the MICA, as of June 30, 2025, ilan po ang balance natin for e-passport booklet?
Yes, Your Honor, the unobligated funds doon sa 10-year MICA totals 8.3 billion pesos.
Still, as of
Still.
June 30,
As of June 30.
still unobligated?
Yes.
Okay. And then, may idadagdag tayo na 2 billion
Yes.
for 2026.
For 2026, naggamit na ho yan for Tier 2 proposals.
Yeah, because the original proposal was 4 billion, right? But only 2 billion out of that
Yes.
was agreed to be funneled towards Tier 2, right? So may natira pa ring 2 billion.
Yes, which will be used for e-passport booklets this year.
Okay, which means, I guess, yun lang siguro yung concern po. We still have 8.3 billion unutilized as of June 30, but we still will add 2 billion for 2026. So, may I ask po the rationale as to why out of the 4 billion in the FY 2026 budget, meron pa po tayong tinira na 2 billion as opposed to like totally funneling the 4 billion towards Tier 2 proposals. Is there like, I don't know, I'm not familiar po with the specific structure of the MICA for the e-passport booklet, but I guess my question is, would we still need to allocate anything at all for the e-passport booklet for 2026, or can we instead funnel that whole 4 billion towards Tier 2 proposals for the DFA? It might be better utilized po for other purposes.
If I may also interject, Chairman Mika, kasi gusto ko lang, I want to understand this before we carry this over to the plenary. It would be difficult for the sponsor to defend. I just want to understand and be on the same page. When you say unobligated, there's a certain amount which is unreleased and unobligated. Magkaiba po kasi yung terminology in application when it comes to the actual usage of these funds, right?
Yes.
So you say when you say unreleased, but there's a pondo for that, but still DBM has yet to release that. When you say obligated, it's a continuing appropriation. Like even if hindi siya na-release, but continuous yung pagre-release sa kanya over the years, right?
Yes.
Like it's a multi-year implementation of a certain program. Yes. So the MICA is a continuing appropriations, right?
That's correct.
Yes. So ibig sabihin siya, it's an obligated but yet unreleased.
That's correct.
That's correct? So para maintindihan po namin.
Yes, ang nangyayari ho dyan, every quarter, we submit to DBM ilan hong passports ang na-issue. So they will issue the corresponding SARO for the amount that's needed to pay the provider, which is APO. So depending on how many passport booklets were issued on the quarter, they issue the corresponding SARO. So we pay the provider of the e-passport booklets. So dun kinukuha yung pondo sa MICA ng e-passports. Yes.
So I think there was a suggestion by the chairperson, Mika, that instead of just having this huge amount, sitting idly in somewhere, why can't you just use that to fund any other services?
If I may po, we also have someone here from the DBM, Secretary Lazaro, if that would help po, because I guess again, I don't know the specific structure of the MICA for the e-passport booklet, so I don't know if it's allowed actually for us to just take that whole amount of 4 billion. So, ASEC, would you like us to recognize our representative from, because I guess ang akin lang po kasi siguro, we still have 8.3 billion under that program. And again, given the uncertainty in terms of the demand for e-passports, we might not even utilize that at all. Kahit yung 8 billion, di ba? Even maybe until end of 2026, baka hindi pa natin magamit yung 8 billion. So siguro po, given that, you have that amount already lodged within the DFA, di ba? Maybe it's better to funnel it to more important immediate needs of the department. So I don't want to say that and recommend that without checking in with DBM, because there may be like a provision in the MICA structure that prohibits us from doing that. So if I may recognize from the DBM, ComSec.
Kasi ano ma'am kasi that would also contribute to your unutilization rate in general, your performance as an agency, 'di ba? I mean, it has a disadvantage in a way.
Yes.
Yes. If I may, a representative from the DFA, ma'am, may you please, ano sabi ko? Ano sabi ko, DFA? Hilo na. If I may please recognize the representative from the DBM, ma'am, please, may you please identify yourself for the committee?
Yes, Madam Chair. I'm Mary Rose Aguilar po, Acting Assistant Director po ng Budget and Management Bureau di handling DFA po. For the issue po kasi ng DFA, like po na sinabi po ni ASEC, na meron po silang 10-year MICA po para dun sa e-passport. During the Tier 1 deliberation po namin, yun nga po, napansin namin na napakalaki po nung kanilang unutilized po sa e-passport. So, what we did po is kinausap po namin sila, baka pwede nilang i-re-evaluate po yung kanilang mga priorities for 2026. So, yun nga po, ang ginawa po nila is portion po nung e-passport because of the low demand po nung kanilang e-passport. Portion of that is nire-allocate po nila dun sa other priority projects po ng DFA. Yung MICA naman po kasi is, while meron po tayong commitment, kasi MICA is a commitment po na dapat napopondohan po natin yung mga projects. Pero upon evaluation po, since hindi naman po siya magagamit, and the e-passport po kasi is hindi pa po siya release sa agency. So yung issuance po kasi ng e-passport is subject to special budget request. So since wala pa po siyang SARO, wala pa po siyang SBR. So, ang ginawa po ng DFA is, yun nga po, portion of 2.3 billion, nila-allocate po nila sa other priority projects nila.
So, siguro po, Assistant Director, if you may enlighten us, kasi as of now, 2 billion lang out of the 4 billion were allocated towards Tier 2 projects. So, pwede ba na yung buong 4 billion i-pull na towards other projects?
It depends po, Madam Chair, sa DFA kung sa tingin po nila yung funds po nila for 2025 is enough para po makover na rin po yung 2026.
But there's no, in the structure of the MICA for the e-passports as it's currently written down, I don't know po, it's a 10-year-old document, so hindi ko pa nasisilip. There's no prohibition against, yung last year na allocation would be totally pulled out for other purposes.
Well, although nakalagay po sa MICA is for e-passport po, on the part naman po ko sa DBM, it's a commitment po para po na-fund natin yung requirements po ng project. Pero once sa re-evaluation po, sa tingin natin, hindi naman po siya magagamit. So, pwede naman po natin, Madam Chair, na i-re-evaluate and i-reallocate po sa other priority projects po.
Okay. Sige. So sorry po. For the record and for the benefit of the DFA, from the part of the DBM, there is no constraint for them to totally pull out the totality of the 4 billion and funnel it towards other priority programs of the DFA. As per the current MICA structure.
For 2026 po, Madam Chair, yes po.
Okay. Sige po. So, siguro yun lang po kasi I was scrutinizing the financial documents of the DFA, and it's a glaring amount lang po kasi that we can utilize for other purposes. And I know the DFA also has other priority programs under the Tier 2 section of the budget na hindi na pondohan under the NEP. So if I guess I'll leave it po Sec Lazaro to the wisdom of the DFA, but it's just an amount that I feel can be better utilized on the part of the DFA.
Thank you very much, Your Honor, for bringing this up. I think the most prudent position here for us is to reevaluate, as also mentioned by the DBM person, and just give us a little bit more time, just in time for the plenary for for our budget sponsor, so that it would be clear for us. Just a little bit more time to
Yes.
look at the
Of course
re-evaluation.
po. Apo. I'm just here lang po to guide, but ultimately, 'di ba? It's on the part of the DFA. Kasi ang nakikita ko lang po diyan, again, I'm actually worried about the 8.3 billion that's already lodged in the DFA, whether it will be utilized even until the end of next year. And if ASEC or Assistant Director, if you may enlighten me lang, if in case, ano yung lifespan nitong 8.3 billion na to? If until when does the DFA have the leeway to utilize this 8.3 billion? Kasi I'm thinking it won't be fully utilized by next year given the demand, just from the demand projection standpoint. So may I know po until when the DFA has to utilize this 8.3 billion pesos for the e-passport booklet?
Out of dun po sa Madam Chair, sa 8 billion po, 4 billion po will end po, ang validity po niya is until December 2025, and for the remaining balance po na 2025, ang validity po niya is until 2026 po.
Okay. So you have half a year to spend 4 billion for the e-passport booklet, otherwise it gets reverted back to the Treasury, and the other 4.3 billion. So I think po, given that, it might be best to not add pressure by adding even more to the bucket for the e-passport booklet program po, Sec. Thank you very much po. Another question, 2024, apart from the 5.7 billion in unreleased appropriations for the e-passport booklet, I'm also seeing here that there is additionally an obligated amount of 4.2 billion pesos. May I know po why that remained unobligated? Unobligated. 2024 po, 2024. Kasi po, out of the unused appropriations of 9.9 billion, 5.7 of that is unreleased and 4.2 is unobligated.
Okay. Hindi ho ito yung sa e-passport na.
I don't know po. Which of these is the e-passport po?
Yes.
Kasi po magkaiba po, di ba?
Correct.
Not the whole 9 billion.
Yes.
Of the unused appropriations po,
Yes.
the 9.9 billion would not be solely attributed to the e-passports,
Yes,
right?
much of the, Your Honor, much of the unutilized funds in 2024 also pertains to yung aming retrofitting project.
Yeah.
Because we were supposed to have moved to our temporary headquarters that year, but because of failed bidding, which was beyond our control, it took place already in 2025. So, marami hong hindi nagamit na pondo because of this delayed retrofitting
So
project.
if, has it been successfully bidded in 2025?
Yes, it has, this
Okay.
year.
So how much of this, the unused appropriations, do we anticipate will be utilized in 2025?
In 2025, last year, it was in the amount of about 400 million last year, and Your Honor, yes, it was 400 million last year and 500 million this year. So magagapit na ho yan, hopefully this year.
Opo,
Dahil nabid na ho successfully.
Medyo malaki pa din, ASEC, kasi we have 4.2 billion, right, in unobligated
That's correct.
funds. Sorry pa, I just need to understand kasi medyo glaring yung 17%, roughly 17% shortfall in utilization for 2024.
Yes.
So I just need to understand where the shortfall is coming from. So there's the e-booklet, e-passport booklet. There's the failure of bidding, which
Yes,
we're
for the
we're
retrofitting
anticipating will
project.
be utilized in 2025. So
That's
that's
correct.
okay.
Yes.
The rest po,
Yes, and another factor cited by DBM in its agency performance review was the low utilization of the ATN funds. There was less demand for ATN services by our Filipinos abroad.
may you let us know, ATN means?
Yes, assistance to nationals.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Yes,
and
I
among
saw
other
that here.
things, it's because of the creation of itong Department of Migrant Workers, where they also have their action fund to assist overseas Filipino
Yes,
workers.
I am seeing here that there's a shortfall of about 600 million for the ito po ba yung protection of the rights and promotion of welfare of overseas
Yes, that's
Filipinos?
correct.
That's the one. At 58% utilization.
Yes.
Opo. Tapos yung GAS, actually, 63% yung
Yes,
utilization.
itong General Administration and Support
Yeah.
Programs.
Siguro po, I just need to understand siguro the breakdown of, would you be able to present to the committee a breakdown of the 9.98 billion in unused appropriations for 2024?
Yes, we can certainly
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. Apa, tinitignan lang po. Medyo malaki po kasi talaga siya.
Yes.
Let's see.
Yes.
So, is that something that you can provide now?
Yes, we could certainly.
Apa.
For the 2024 breakdown?
For the 2024?
The breakdown of your
Yung
2024 usage?
9.9 billion in unutilized appropriations po. Okay. Para lang po makita ko. Opo. Kaya ba? Sige. Okay po, sige po. Kino-compare ko lang po kasi yung year-on-year levels, 2024, 2025, and 2026.
I should just add, Your Honor, there are certain projects that are charged to the building fund na hindi ho natuloy. So we'll also include that in our tabulation.
So a lot of it, hindi na start at all yung project?
Yes, allotted for repair, acquisition, construction, certain chanceries, residences abroad, pero somehow hindi ho natuloy.
Yeah, because I'm seeing here, just comparing the time series, right, across the 3 years. If you would see, hindi naman ganon sobrang lumaki yung MOOE. Actually, your MOOE is lower in the NEP than it was in the GAA for 2025. The changes really are in the PS, which increased by about 1.8 billion,
Yes.
and the capital outlay, which increased by about 800 million.
Yes.
So, yun lang. Gusto ko lang po makita yung utilization actually for us to be able to see how much. Kasi again, medyo flag siya for the committee if there's like a huge chunk of unutilized appropriation. So again, we want to make sure that the funds we place are utilized po.
Correct.
So
And Your Honor, yung decrease sa MOE from the 2026 NEP compared to the 2025 JA is because of yung paglipat ng 2 billion that came from the e-passport project to be used in other priority items.
it went towards capital outlay or PS?
Wala hong PS, mostly MOE and capital outlay.
Okay. Sige. Yun yung 800 million increase in capital outlay.
Yes.
Okay. Outlays. Plural pala yun. Capital outlay, isa lang. Capital outlays. Yung foreign service posts po, there's an increase of 2 billion for foreign service posts for between FY 2025 and FY 2026 po.
Madam Chair, may we excuse also the staff from the DBM? If you don't have any more questions you would like to ask of her, may we allow that she be excused?
Actually, sorry Vice Chair, nandiyan lang naman si Assistant Director sa likod.
So no problem with you if you stay?
Yeah.
Kasi iba yung tingin mo sa akin eh. Gusto mo na umuwi eh.
Actually, nagsistay naman po yung partners natin in the DBM precisely for that reason, to check lang. I think provision of foreign service, sige. Yun lang po siguro talaga, it's the unutilized funds po. Kasi I just wanted to flag that perhaps those are programs that are not as in demand or not as utilized as other programs that perhaps the DFA may need to fund. Medyo malaki kasi po talaga siya.
Your Honor.
Yes po,
Can
Secretary.
we request, I think it might be a hurried computation. Can you just give us until tomorrow?
Okay.
To give you a more succinct and the computation is in a good one.
Of course po, Sectas.
Thank
No
you.
worries at all. Yun lang, I went through the files kasi, and siguro yun yung pinaka-glaring sa akin. I also want to, I guess, guide the DFA towards funneling the budget for 2026 towards programs that are most needed by the department. So siguro po, while the DFA team is putting that together, now that we've seen that there may be certain programs that do not need that big of an allocation, siguro po, Sectas, we'll leave it to the DFA to discuss amongst yourselves po. Are there specific programs po that are priorities of the DFA that were not funded in the NEP that's super needed by the DFA?
Actually, Your Honor, that was the initial discussions, and one of them that we think is really very important is our cybersecurity. In fact, we had our people.
I
here
agree also, very much so, yes.
We had people here that even went to Estonia because they're looking at probably the best cybersecurity experts and company that we want to, and that is something really that it's very much needed and is not funded actually.
I agree po. So, Sec, would you have an estimate as to how much that program will cost?
I again give the floor to our ano to? Asset management.
Yes, my apologies po. May you please identify yourself, sir?
Assistant Secretary Patrick Hilado for Asset Management.
Yes, for ASEC.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. I think part of our ISSP, our cybersecurity program, was funded by the NAP, but there's a certain part that was not given. This was based on our submission for the ISSP. So I think we can work with the OFMS to get so that it can be fully funded, Madam Chair.
How much is the deficit po?
I think the deficit is around under 1 billion pesos po ang deficit. So we can crunch the numbers and we can submit it to fiscal management so we can look
We
for
found around 2 billion that we can funnel towards other programs, so that can be the source po. Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Madam Chair.
for that, yes. If that's the most critical for the DFA. Yeah, but again, I will have to check in po if that's something that the department would agree on. Opo. Sir, yun po yung pinaka-critical po, Sec, no? It is sizable. It is a very sizable amount at roughly 1 billion. But then again, if we're gonna reallocate the amount from the e-passport booklet towards the cybersecurity, you still have roughly 1 billion left after that. Opo.
Your Honor, we're very appreciative of the way you conducted it because now we realize that there's something there and yet we need something that is not funded. Thank you very much.
Yes po, that's what I'm here for po. It's really to scrutinize the numbers and make sure we're able to allocate where it's most needed. So yun po siguro. Usually that's a question that I pose to the agencies before the end of every hearing. What are other priority programs that were proposed by the agency to the DBM that ultimately were not funded in the NEP, but we have a very good situation here wherein there's actually a source within the DFA where we can pull it from. So siguro po, Sectas, I leave it po to your wisdom and to the wisdom of the agency to figure out what we would like to do with this funding. My request lang po, Sec, given that we have to submit all proposed amendments to the GAB and the NEP through the Budget Amendments Review Subcommittee within the Committee on Appropriations. We'll need some time po to be able to send that in for deliberation of the BARC. So if may I ask po by when you will be able to submit the proposed amendments?
Your Honor, by tomorrow.
Oh, perfect. Yes. I was going to say 48 hours, but okay. 24 hours is even better po. Sige. And then, just one final call, COMSEC, because we're doing a new initiative on the part of the Committee on Appropriations, wherein we give the space for our civil society partners to ask questions to the agencies through either the vice chairpersons or the chairperson of the Committee on Appropriations. So I've checked in po before I started my interpellation, wala pa po. So siguro before we end lang po our hearing and interpellation for today, COMSEC, just wanted to confirm, are there any questions coming from our civil society partners to be fielded to our DFA family?
Good afternoon, ma'am. So far, we have not received any questions from the CSO that we have invited this
Sige po. So,
DFA hearing.
So again, we invite our civil society organization partners to please submit any questions that you would like us to field to our agency partners, and we'll be very happy to make that part of the deliberations of the Committee on Appropriations, because for sure that will enrich the discussion. So sana po in the coming days, more and more of our civil society partners will field questions. So any more? Yeah. Yeah, I think there are no more questions po from our side. I guess before we end today's hearing po, any other thoughts po or comments from your side po, Sec?
Actually, Madam Chair, I can only say on behalf of the DFA family, thank you very much to you, of course, to our budget sponsor, and the other honorable congressmen here. Thank you very much for the questions that were very important, and hopefully we were able to respond. But this is more important on the budget, that there is some kind of movement or leeway that we can work on. Thank you very much, Your Honors.
Thank you very much po, Sec. Tess, Lazaro, and to the whole DFA family. Again, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for being so flexible. We moved up your budget hearing by 3 days po, no? 3 full days, 2 full days. So I know po that the internal deadline for the submissions was today, and you had to move it up to make it to today's hearing. So thank you so much po for accommodating the request of the committee. And with that, now that there are no other member who wishes to interpolate our partners in the DFA, do I hear a motion?
Madam Chair, just as last note, no, I'd like to put on record that it's as a sponsor of this budget, I'm I thank the chairperson for pointing that out. I mean, it would make the job of the sponsor a lot easier in the plenary, and it would also at least help the DFA to rationalize their budgets insofar as the utilization of their funds, especially those unreleased in yet obligated fundings, because that would anyway affect the overall performance and accomplishment of your department, which by the way also affects the amount that the DBM will be granting to you based on the request that you forward or you extend to DBM. So again, I guess, Madam Chair, on the issue of the MICA, this is just my advice to the DFA. Once you restructure or you review again I guess 8 billion pesos, in order for you to utilize that and fund other services that might be needed for your services to more responsive to the needs of our kababayans abroad. I would also suggest that you also consult your legal technical staff, so that we may not be able to at least maybe perhaps overlook some things that may be needed, may need to be considered. We are talking about funds here, so we don't want to overstep our boundaries. If there are guidelines on how to utilize this, I think it's also best for the interest of the department to review this properly, thoroughly, so that there won't be any problem that may arise in the future that we do not want to happen. So, having said that, I again turn over to the chairperson. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Adyong. Again, given that there are no other interpolator who wishes to field questions to our DFA family, do I hear a motion?
Madam Chair,
I would
Yes.
like to move to terminate the budget hearing of the Department of Foreign Affairs and including its attached agencies. So move, Madam Chair.
I second the motion.
There is a motion to terminate the budget hearing of the Department of Foreign Affairs, including its attached agencies. Do I hear a second?
Second, Madam Chair.
Given that it has been moved and seconded, the motion is carried. The budget hearing of the Department of Foreign Affairs, including its attached agencies, is hereby terminated.
Congratulations. See you in the plenary.
Madam Chairperson,
Yes, go ahead.
may I move that we suspend the hearing and resume tomorrow, September 3, 2025 at 9 a.m. So move, Madam Chairperson.
Any second?
I second, Madam Chair.
There is a motion to suspend hearing until tomorrow, September 2 at 9 in the morning. It has been duly seconded. The motion is carried. This hearing is hereby suspended until tomorrow, September 3 at 9 in the morning. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, DFA family.